The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
All right, we're about to get rough up in here because we have tonight a special guest that's a prolific podcaster, an author, all-around good dude, metal dude, member of D-Rook's Roughnecks, and I found out recently a Moon Knight aficionado. So get ready to buckle up because it's going to be hardcore, man. And you know what? Let's just fucking do this. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome all you little zombies. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, starring the Deadites.
Welcome to episode 508 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is the world's most dangerous podcast and is recorded in front of an undead studio audience here at Castle Wolfenstein, also at the Lair of Lost Swag within the Raven Chateau, and also at the Casa... Oh my god, I keep fucking that up. I keep wanting to say that other fucking guy that's not here anymore. The Lair of the Gods. We are once again joined from three locations because... The reason we're in three locations is because we have a guest in the Raven Chateau. Raven Chateau, you did such a great intro. Why don't you go ahead and make it official and let folks know who we have in studio there with you?
Oh man, we have a main event fill-in, backstage chillin', boyfriends call him villain, Steven Van Samson, baby. He's breaking hots and breaking records in the fucking bookshelves, in the fucking Walmarts, in the conventions. You don't even fucking know. He wrote The Bone Eater King. He wrote fucking Layer of the fucking White Worm, all kinds of layers. There's a lot of layers in the guy's writing. There's a lot of things that he wrote. He's fucking part of the Retro Ridiculous Podcast.
Something.
You can't even say it.
I'm not sure what it is, but it's fucking good. You know, there's different guests every week. If you don't like the assholes, there's new assholes. It's fucking great stuff over there.
We are the keepers of the assholes. It's true.
Yeah. I love Steve.
And we got old Dusty. We got fresh new hotness. All sorts of assholes.
We have an asshole we'd like to give you.
Yeah, you want to take that asshole?
This guy right here.
That's the one.
He gave me beer. He's not an asshole. He gave me some beer. So
Thank you.
He fed me beer.
See, that's how it gets you. Liquid diet.
Yes.
Next thing you know, you're gonna be drunk and you're gonna be loving Uncrustables. It's gonna be your favorite food ever because that's the only thing he has.
Does it smell like chloroform?
I can't smell anything after I blacked out and came back. I can't smell anything.
It's true.
So we are joined by Steve Van Samson, and it's been a bit. I think the last time was in Castle Wolfenstein, which I don't know.
August. It was August 19.
Yeah.
Right.
So there you go. It was actually, when did I move? That must have been right before I moved because I moved. Let's see. I'll look it up. I'll look up the previous appearances by Steve. But so Steve, obviously, it's been a while since you've been on the show. So let folks know what's been going on in your neck of the woods.
Yeah. Well, hey guys, I'm still with Rough House Publishing, as was alluded to in the intro. I'm still a member of Retro Redoctopus.
Yes, isn't that what I said?
Said something like that. It was pretty close. It was not that close, but it was pretty good.
Redoctopus.
We are a nostalgia-based podcast, and you can find us anywhere you listen to podcasts, where we have a good time. We put out episodes every couple of weeks. Me and my buddies, 8-Bit Alchemy and Nintendo. We've had some fun guests on too. The last sort of 6 months, we sort of tried to amp up a little bit. A year. We had Stan Bush on last year.
Nice.
Yeah.
Really? Did he have the touch?
We all had the touch. We were all very touched by Stan Bush.
Show us on the Transformers figure where Stan Bush touched you.
Well, it's like right where the screw is. Like underneath this, you got to unscrew it, and you can get a little pen light in there, and you can kind of see it. It's kind of dark. But no, Stan Bush was a really super nice guy. Very very fun to talk to, fun guest. And we also got to talk to, I loved this. This was for me, like a dream guest. It's like a name that nobody really knows, but this lady, her name is Terrell Whitlach, and she was the lead creature designer on the Phantom Menace.
Oh, nice. That's awesome.
She did every single creature in the Phantom Menace, including Jar Jar, but also every other, like, you know, non-sentient creature that was in that movie. She also handled the redesign of the Dewbacks when they added the Dewback in for like the scenes in A New Hope in the 90s. Remember when they had the
special editions? Yeah.
Special editions, right? Yeah. Yeah. He remembers.
Ollie does not like Dewbacks. I've heard that about him.
Doesn't like like the Tauntaun?
Yeah, he's
enemies of Bijans.
He's
good time.
Yeah, he wants to hide in the couch again.
But yeah, we have fun. We have a good time.
So where can folks find Retro Redoctopus if they were so inclined to listen to you guys?
Find any place you listen to podcasts, we are there. We also have a killer group on Facebook. And if you're wondering how to spell it, it is the word octopus with R-I-D in front of it. It's Redoctopus. We like to make up words. You know, what's more ridiculous than redunculous? Well, the answer is, of course, Redoctopus. We cover movies and video games and just anything that you loved when you were a kid. We actually had an episode recently on like wrestling. We had school lunches. We did an episode. Lots of just random stuff that board games.
Rave's a big fan of school lunches.
Loves that square pizza.
I do. I love square pizza.
He loves the square pizza. So.
I like that.
Well, he does love Elio's, so makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, it's because it goes blub 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 when you cook it. So check us out. We have a good time. But yeah, so as far as my writer self goes, I'm still with Roughhouse Publishing with Derek Rook. We have a really good time making cool shit. We had a pretty fun year last year coming out of the pandemic. We really rocked like 3 cons after not getting to do cons for a year and a half.
Yeah.
That was really fun. I have stories. We went to Florida. That was awesome. That was my first time doing a con outside of New England. So we went to Spooky Empire in Orlando last October. That was awesome. Got to have breakfast. Got to have coffee with Lance Henriksen. That was amazing.
Nice.
Yep. He was literally just the guy sitting over there, and he was just like, I'm like, oh my god, it's Lance Henriksen. So like, went over and said hi, and he's like, yeah, sit down, have coffee. I'm like, it's like that moment in Wayne's World where Alice Cooper's like, he's like, yeah, come on guys, hang out with us. And Wayne's like, yeah, hang out with us with Alice Cooper. And then
let's have coffee with Lance Henriksen.
It's just like that, yeah.
Oh, our boy Evil Corny is piping in the chat room, and he says the school lunch episode was my favorite.
Thanks, Corny, man. I appreciate it. What's up, man? Love Corny.
So Corny's checking in. We'll see if we can get some other folks checking in. But so folks should give that a listen. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can find Retro Redoctopus, and you can hear Steve and the guys. You guys do it's every 2 weeks, right? Bi-monthly?
We have it every 2 weeks, and we have on the off weeks, occasionally we will have bonus episodes, and it's actually more often than not. That's kind of where we do our interview. We came up with, we're just making it up as we go, basically. By season, we're in season 4 now. We call it season 4. Every season's just a year, whatever. So we're by season 2, I think we kind of started to come up with this idea of like, let's do non-format episodes, like just because it would be fun. And so we came up with this one that we call the Crow's Nest, which is basically just a catch-all for anything that doesn't fit. And if we want to do just an hour episode, because usually our episodes tend to be like 2.5 hours. It's funny because I remember back in the Dizzy, and I like learned that you guys had 3-hour episodes. I was like, this is impossible. How can anyone talk for this long? And then we pretty much ended up doing the same exact thing. And in fact, our last episode we did, it was on Our current episode on Sonic the Hedgehog is 3 fucking hours long. So
There you go.
we had a great guest, a friend of ours from online, and just we had a great time. But yeah, 3 hours. So it's like people want to hear about Sonic the Hedgehog for 3 hours, and we're like, you know what? Who gives a shit? We want to talk about it. So there you go. Like,
Yeah, it's
Well, see, that's usually our stance on when it comes to anything we talk about on this show. Is we just fucking talk. We don't care if anyone's listening.
right. Yeah, that's
Right.
kind of the thing. Like, you know, we've always said that we'd be having these conversations, or we've always been having these conversations around like the Denny's table. That's the example that we used back in the day, you know? So yeah, and you know, and sometimes back then people would just kind of hang out and listen in and be like, oh, I want to hang out with these guys. And
Right.
sometimes they were homeless people who lived in shelters, and other times they weren't. So
We going chicken hunting.
Oh, don't say that. Don't say that about Dynamo. That's not nice.
We did meet James Brown one night though. That
Yeah,
was fun.
we did.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
He first of all he said that he was oh shit, no, I almost said Evil Knievel. Who's the who did he say he was at first, Raven Channel? Do you remember?
James Brown.
No, he said someone else first. You weren't. Oh,
Super-
that's right. I don't think you were there. You
Was
got
there?
You got there. Didn't you get there late for that, or am I mistaken?
I feel he was at a different table and he came over because he was a picture like a 1960s blues jazz singer that's washed up in New Orleans, but at Denny's by himself in a large brown overcoat drinking Listerine because he was just to get some of the alcohol.
See, I think you just sort of described John Constantine.
It's kind of he was like a homeless John Constantine who claimed to be James Brown. Maybe he claimed to be Super Dave Oswald. I'm not sure.
I think it was Houdini. Wasn't it Harry Houdini? Is that the one?
It was Houdini.
Houdini.
It was
yeah,
Houdini.
Okay.
And I think your brother was like, "You're not Harry Houdini."
Yeah.
You've been dead for quite some time, sir.
There's some visual cues that I've seen
Yeah.
pictures of
Like
Harry.
skin color.
I don't know.
Are you okay if I punch you really hard in the stomach?
Yeah.
As hard as I can? Is that cool?
So
I hear
that-
he likes that. I don't know.
Yeah, that was so that yeah that's one of the infamous stories. But yeah, I mean we have I don't think any of these guys were on this, but before I started my Star Wars podcast, which just kind of spun off from Trick or Treat Radio, we once had a 7-hour discussion of Rise of Skywalker. 7 fucking hours talking about one
No.
movie.
I don't know what you could say about that.
I think that was the one. Was it? Yeah, no, I think Rise of Skywalker was the 7-hour one, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Wow.
it's a little crazy.
That's like 2 Lord of the Rings special editions.
I know. We talked about like the movie like twice as long as the runtime of the actual movie is.
Twice as long as anybody thought.
Yeah.
So yeah. So I mean, yes, we can talk. You guys can talk. People love to. Some people like to listen to us talk, which is still crazy to me. But hey, that's cool.
Yeah, it's same sort of thing. Like, you know, one of the main compliments that we get about for Retro Redoctopus is the fact that we sort of just feel like that we're natural, I guess. And people say that it's one of those podcasts where you feel like you're hanging out. And I've had a couple of people say that they've forgotten and started talking.
Yeah.
Listening, they're like, they
Yeah,
have
right.
something to add, so they say, and they're like, "Oh my god, I'm insane." Listening.
Yeah,
to
I've done that. I've yelled at your podcast before. No, you're wrong. And I'm not on this podcast. I'm on a different one. You know.
Was it about school lunch areas?
No, I didn't listen to that one. I'm gonna have to listen to that one.
That was a really fun episode. We had a guy on that show who's a very good friend of ours. He knows a lot of people, and just from doing like music for so long. Randy Carter. I don't know if you know him.
Oh yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Randy.
he's-
Yep.
Yeah, he's currently the singer of Swarm of Eyes.
Yep.
used
Used
to
to be
be,
in Moto Cops, right?
Cops.
Yep.
That's him. Yeah, Randy is just a super good friend, and he's actually been on twice. And we had his buddy who plays guitar for Swarm of Eyes, George O'Connor, who also has a comic book company. Awesome dude, love that guy. Very talented comic book writer. He has Homeless Comics. George came on.
It all comes right around.
Homeless. We're derelict. Everything's. So he was on the wrestling episode. He's a huge wrestling fan, like big wrestling fan. So we try to keep it loosey goosey as far as that. But I got to say, 4 years into this thing, we still have plenty of ideas for episodes, but it is a little bit nerve wracking not having like an endless pool of stuff because we're looking backwards.
Right.
It's just, like you guys can talk about a movie we're going to talk about tonight, a new movie. Like, okay, cool. Just came out. Let's talk about that. We don't do that. We don't talk about anything new. So our topics are always, structured in a way that like we all have something to say or present or something about a specific topic, like school lunches. Like, what do we remember about this topic kind of thing?
I'm getting hungry.
You want that?
But you're looking at this off from the wrong angle. Eventually, everything becomes old. The longer you do it, what is new now is old in 5 years.
Right. So we can talk about Moon Knight in like 5 to 10 years if we're still on.
Yes. So start taking notes now. And that way you're prepared, because I'm sure you prepare that far in advance.
Yeah,
I'm sure you were taking notes while you were in high school about school lunches, preparing for podcasting, which hadn't even been a twinkle in anyone's eye at that point.
Appreciate that you noticed.
Yeah.
Guys. I appreciate that you noticed. No one ever does.
You should have had Monster Zero's mother on the show because she used to be a lunch lady.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah,
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, she's all the recipes.
Right. Yeah, she.
Like,
Harry's almost lost his whiskey. The secret
Motherfucker,
recipes.
school lunch. It's not a fucking like. There's no hidden secret.
No, it's like the Colonel Sanders, the original herbs and spices. She's got all that.
No, it isn't.
Yeah.
Aries, every time I see you, time goes by, and every time you look more and more like you're from Moria. Like, not that you're short, but like on this tiny square, I'm like, man, is this motherfucker the son of Glowin or Dwalin? Which one?
Oh, God damn it.
She's got a war.
That is not an insult, sir.
I'm not exactly sure how to take that. I'm just
take it in a good way. Take it in like a dwarves are fucking awesome and they're warriors and badass, and so are you. I'm just saying you're
to stand up higher or something.
Yeah. maybe Thorin. Thorin is pretty badass, right?
badass, but
Yeah.
he only gets smart at the end.
That's true.
He's pumped for like a long time, and then he gets smart for like 5 seconds, and then he dies.
Spoiler.
My money, I was always a big Dwalin guy. I like Dwalin, and in the movie, he was the bald badass that had the big hammer axe.
Yep.
And if we're gonna swing it back to this little book I wrote,
What's weird?
Oh,
There.
I have a little book. I have a prop I brought with me that people who are watching the live stream might be able to see over there. So I wrote this book. It is not Lair of the White Worm.
What I say?
But
I got bad eyes.
if it was Lair of the White Worm, I would be Stoker. So because that's who wrote that.
Oh, Bram's. Yeah, Bram's.
Oh
Stoker.
the one.
Yeah, didn't he write that? What else did he write? He wrote the Draculas.
Something.
The
Yeah.
Draculas.
It's all the Draculas. He wrote all the various Draculas. But Bram Stoker wrote Lair of the White Worm. I have written a book called Mark of the Witch Worm. Witch worm with a Y on that worm, just in case you're looking it up.
Just like Wormwood, like the movie.
Yeah. Like it's perfect. It's like Kismet. Like the fact that this is the stars have aligned tonight. I don't even know how we got this lucky. But Mark of the Witch Worm is my first dark fantasy book. So I've written horror books in the past. Last time I was on, I was talking about this one right here, the Bone Eater King, and also it has a sequel, Marrow Dust, which was out at the time, and you can still buy those anywhere fine books are sold. Now, Amazon, really, or just you can just like find me online, and you know what happens if you buy it from me directly, any of the stuff directly, like I will sign and sketch for you online. But,
and I have a dope autograph and signed picture in here too. So that makes me smile.
It's a weird thing. It's happened.
And that calms me down.
It's pretty cool. But
that's your new gimmick now.
So I wrote two. These are original. The original two are like vampire apocalypse, post-apocalypse books. Very like moment to moment thrill ride type. Like you don't want to put it down. That's the intention of how I wrote it. Anyway. And this is different. This is a dark fantasy sort of thing. This was like, I say dark fantasy. I like sword and sorcery better. This is like I wanted to write like a Conan kind of thing. So it's definitely more grounded. If you're asking what's the magic system like, you're asking the wrong question because there's no magic. It's kind of, I sort of wrote this as a person who isn't the biggest fantasy book reader. I like fantasy a lot. I like a lot about fantasy, but like I prefer sword and sorcery. I prefer like the old Robert E. Howard stuff. The idea of like there could be a roving adventurer that goes through this, brutal landscape with all these monsters, and yeah, maybe there's ogres and fantasy stuff, but it's different. There's no wizards, there's no magic, and for me, what I love about those old stories, especially Conan, is he's never really trying to like save the world or anything. He's selfish. He's always trying to do something small. So depending on the story, there are stories where Conan is trying to save somebody. There's also times where he's trying to save his own ass. There's also times where he just one of my favorite stories. Have you guys read any of the old Conan stuff ever?
Oh yeah, the old Bashima stuff, the old Marvel comics, the Marvel comics.
So that's the Marvel stuff. Have you ever read the original Robert E. Howard?
They made books out of those?
They did. They just came out. They just came out in 1931.
Really? Yeah, it's new stuff.
Yeah. So awesome stuff. A lot of it's really short too, so it's cool. You can get there's a lot of really great collections. There's my favorite collection out there it's actually no Conan in it, but there's a book called the Horror Stories of Robert E. Howard, and it is an awesome collection. They picked really great stuff for that collection. But also, I don't know if you guys know Greg Staples is. He's like an English artist. He worked on Judge Dredd for a while, I guess. Okay. 2000 AD stuff.
Yeah.
And he did like a series of pen and ink drawings for this book that are just absolutely gorgeous. There's one per story, and sometimes there's if it's a little bit longer of a story, there might be one in the middle as well. But just one of my favorite short story collections. But anyway, the great thing about his stuff is that you never knew what it was going to be, but it was something that was going to be like personal to the characters that are going through it. They're not selfless. They're not like chaotic good characters per se. These are morally gray characters, and there's my favorite Conan story, which is not in that book. It's called Tower of the Elephant, and he literally just is kind of like he blows into this town. He's never been through it before. And one of like the through lines for Conan is that he really hates wizards. He really, really hates wizards. And there's he sits down. There's a pub. He's getting something to eat, getting something to drink, whatever. And he sees over there's like some culty stuff going on. He's like, oh, I don't really like organized religion either, but kind of annoyed. And then there's this big freaking tower over there at the edge of town. And he asks, the bar wench or whoever, he's like, oh, what's the deal with this? What's the deal with that? And they're like, oh yeah, well, there's the tower is like, there's a wizard that lives there. We've never seen him, but he's a big fat jerk and he kind of like sucks and he's like, oh, well, okay. Cause I want to like go kill that guy or something. And she's like, oh yeah, there's like a treasure too. So, and he's like, oh, I'm just going to do this. I'm just going to do this. So like he blew into town. He's already tired. It's the end of a long day. And he's like on a like that. He's like, you know what? I'm not going to go to bed. I'm just going to go and scale the tower, and I'm going to kill that wizard, and I'm going to steal his shit because I fucking hate wizards, and the tower's goddamn there, and I'm going to do it. And that's what he does. It's a great story. I love
Sold.
it. I love it. And so this book, I'm like, all right, I like that idea, that sort of a world. It sort of feels like a realistic world, but with fantasy elements. But here we have monsters. Monsters are my favorite thing. There are monsters in this. There's a titular monster, the witchworm. She's a big like snake dragon sort of thing, but she can do stuff that you typically don't see creatures do. There is an element where they're like, there's a reason it's called a witch worm. There's something that people have seen it do that feels like magic, and it's like witchcraft to them. And it's just a name, but I look at everything biologically. So I try to figure out even the impossible stuff. I want to make some sort of sense. And that's really the most magical the book gets. It's really about a guy who is going through this landscape trying to save his son. His son is dying of a really rare disease that is 100% fatal. And this guy comes from like a tribal sort of a people. So he's there's no America, there's no Native Americans, but he's like a native sort of guy. and he's traveled for 5 months. He spent 5 months on the road, and he is trying to find this man who he believes will have a cure, because this guy was a traveling salesman, and he had like a snake oil type salesman, like with a wagon, sort of just kind of rumbling through the countryside, making stops. And he at one time came through and actually cured somebody who had this disease. And nobody had ever seen that happen before. For as far as these people knew, it was just 100% fatal. So, for my main character, his name's Belmorn, and he that's his last name, but he's mostly called Belmorn. He had never seen that before, so he's like, yeah, I gotta go find this guy. And everybody's like, yeah, but that guy came through here like 7 years ago. You don't know his name. How are you gonna find this guy? And so really, it's this sort of, presented as this fearless quest that he's gonna, do anything to save his son. But as it goes, he sort of starts to realize that leaving and doing what he's doing right now wasn't really the brave thing. It was more the easy thing, because really the harder thing would be to sit and watch his kid waste away. Mm-hmm. And he's probably never going to, the wife, when he was leaving, is like, don't go, because you're probably never going to see him again. He's only got so long to live. You need to be by his side for those days. And Belmorn is like, no, I have to be brave, and I have to do this big thing, and I'm a big, strong guy, and I, need to do this. And more and more as the story goes, you kind of like have him dealing with this guilt of, wow, I'm probably going to fail, and I wasted all this time, and I might not even get back and have him be alive. Who knows? So really, it's like, he really feels like he's got to accomplish this, and probably within the next week or so, because he's out of time. It's a slow moving disease, but he's about out of time. So
see, I'm fucking riveted now, because I was thinking about that too. I didn't know that it was maybe Mama was still in the picture, but I figured like he was, doing his own, like chasing windmills, like going like I was gonna fucking do something. Yeah. And my first thought was, well,
you sure he wasn't chasing waterfalls, Raven Shadow?
Don't go chasing waterfalls, Johnny. We heard that song. Bad thing to do.
It never ends well.
There's bad times. But see, I'm riveted. I like the fact that it's set in a world, but you don't have to always have like, magical stuff. But I like that it could be in any. I like that. I like that. My idea of fantasy doesn't involve, worms or dragons. I'll tell you that much. But
snakes, man.
Snake man. But see, I'm fascinated by that, and I want to see the ending. And can you just stay over tonight and like read that to Ollie and I?
No, I cannot.
You cannot. Why?
I do have a job.
That's fine.
And a life and a family. So.
No.
Although I appreciate.
I could see why when you were describing the plot, Raven Shadow was like it resonated with you, Raven Shadow, right? Because that's what you would have done. You'd go on this fucking quest.
I gotta go. Like, there's probably some antidote in the bar. Let me go there.
At the bar.
Yeah, it's probably the package store. Probably has an antidote. Let me look in the. No,
Yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Go to the gas station, put $5 in the tank, see if the antidote's there.
Maybe the antidote's in the shed. Let me
Yeah.
see what's in there.
The antidote's been inside of you all along, Raven Shadow.
No, it's not.
The antidote. That sounds like the end of a Hallmark movie. The
Right.
antidote's inside all of us.
Yeah.
It was inside you all along.
We're all the antidote.
Yeah.
We're all, yeah.
Yeah, that sounds like Hallmark horror, like
Yes.
the new channel.
Oh, that's a Steven, listen, let's talk about that. Hallmark horror.
I got no stake in that.
Okay.
I do want to mention this is, to tie it back to Rough House. This is the first Rough House Publishing book they've ever done. They're a comic publisher, but this is the first novel that they've put out. So Derek Rook took a chance on me, had a good feeling about this book, and we've had a great time. And like I said, we've been all over with this book. We had a great time in Florida with this book. Reception has been awesome. And what I'm holding in my hands right now is the hardcover Rough House exclusive. So this is alternate artwork than the soft cover that you can buy on Amazon. This one right here you can only buy on roughhousepublishing.com. And it comes with a ton of stuff. We can talk about like the tiers later if you want, but there's like lots of versions of this on the website. All different price points, for every budget, and the hardcover one comes packaged with all sorts of fun stuff because that's just how Rough House do. That's how we do.
And to be fair, for Rough House to take a chance on you, that's a pretty safe bet.
Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
If it's good enough to do, it's good enough to overdo, right, Steve?
That's right. Excess is the way to go. So with this one, like we package it with this. The coolest thing, I don't have it here, but the coolest thing I think is we did this like pretty sizable enamel pin, and it's like I did this design of like this W with the like snake head wrapping around it, and that's the pin, and really, really cool. Came out awesome. It says Rough House Pulp on the back. This is actually the beginning of a new imprint for Rough House, which is Rough House Pulp.
Nice.
Brand new imprint. Really cool. Really excited about it. It's I'll show Raven Shadow.
Thank you.
Yeah, so I'm looking right now on the website. You guys can go to roughhousepublishing.com, and pretty much right at the top there is you can see Mark of the Witchworm. There's a little sort of moving banner. Or just below it, the news story, this winter, Rough House eats the worm. Click on either of those, and it'll bring you to the page and all of the bundles that Steve was talking about. You can see them here. So there's even an audiobook edition narrated by you.
True.
That's what I want to get. He can read all night when we go to bed.
Yeah, he doesn't have to stay to do that. Buy
Yeah.
it, and he will be in your bedroom for all eternity.
With you, yeah.
I like what I had in mind, but fine. I guess
I like Gary's plan a lot better.
it's not weird.
See, I thought so.
I got some Easter leftovers. You like ham?
I do like ham.
Yeah.
I do like ham. I appreciate
That the ham's kind of getting a little sketchy at this point.
Oh, it's Sunday. I'm fine till like Saturday.
The audiobook is available on Audible if you guys are so inclined. I did spend I think it took me about 12 weeks to do that. It was a while, and I was recording myself at my home studio. Had never done anything like a book before. We talked about the podcast and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I can record myself, no problem. And I mean, it eventually it got done, but it was a long process, man. And like, you got to edit yourself, and every time you screw up and you say something weird, it's like, okay, stop. And then, I'm trying to like find my place in the page, and you record it, but there's a cut there, so you can hear, even if you can't hear like an audible, cue where the cut was, there's no like or anything. But even if you get rid of that, the tone of voice is going to be different because you were at the end of a breath before. Now you're at the beginning of a breath, or it's just a different tone of voice. I don't know. It was really challenging. So I'd be like, I have to be like, oh, I ended it high. I went WNBC.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I got to do that again. So, yeah, no, it was a very, very challenging process. And, I mean, I'm very proud of it. It came out cool. There's original music by my old band, Enchanted Exile, in there. And there is, all the chapter headings are read by Derek Rook, which is fun. And, he did a good job. We had a lot of fun making it, but it was, this is definitely a lot of work for sure, this book. So we put this out last year, and we're super proud of it. So, yeah.
Now, were you the only person with the editing of the audio, or did you have someone else as well?
Well, we had a guy that did the mastering at the end. That was sort of helping it sound a little bit better, messing with the levels, sort of that kind of stuff. But as far as
did he send anything back to you going, this didn't work, like read it again type of thing?
No.
So everything you sent to him worked for him?
Yeah, but he was really just sort of not looking at that level of detail either. Like, his job was simply to make what we gave him sound better. So it was really up to me to be like, all right, if this sucks, no one to blame but me.
Oh yeah, well, see that's I would be so stressed out about that aspect of it. That's what, as you were talking about it, having to, edit yourself, and I'm like, oh my God, I could never do that, because, I mean, as I talk on this podcast, I don't have an edit button, but anytime I've had to record something and send it to Johnny, oh God, it's like, that's hours, like for a 30-second spot, that's like an hour for me, because it's just the idea of editing myself. I can't do it. So for you to do that for a whole book, that's mind-blowing for me.
I will say that I have also spent an hour on a 30-second spot.
Okay.
So, I think that the trick really is not, to really keep at it. Like, I was going every night after work, I'd eat supper and I'd go up into the studio and just try to get something done. If I was up there for an hour, or 3 hours or whatever, but as you go, you do get better at it. You do go faster. But yeah, I think that you can hear that, at least I can hear the confidence, because I did listen to it at the end. As I'm doing it, I'm not going back to listen to what I'm doing. I would never finish it.
I can understand that, because I'd be the same way.
Yeah, so it's sort of okay, you got to just move on and keep going. But at the end of it, when it was all done, it was all mastered, and all the music was in place and all that stuff, I did listen to it one time, and I was scared out of my mind to listen. First of all, I really, but I was happy with it. I was proud of it. But I think you can hear the confidence come into my voice after the first chapter. I think I can, because I do voices too on this.
Yeah. Oh, I am intrigued by that as well now, because I do love the fact when an author reads their book on the audio version of it.
Me too. I love that. I absolutely love that. You get certain inflections that nobody else would understand to do. That something that you planned, or especially with weird names. It's fantasy, so all the names are kind of weird, and you're gonna say it wrong, and it's and then what's this guy's name? Durst. Is his name Durst? Yeah. So I mean, it's just one of those things. But yeah, you have an extra layer of what makes it fun as a listener, in my opinion. I love when authors read their own stuff. It's great.
Awesome, man.
Yeah, it's super cool. So folks should go check that out on Rough House Publishing. And Steve, you had mentioned you guys have Rough House has an another con coming up. Is that true?
It is true. We have a con coming up very, very shortly. Let me pull up the deets on that one. So we're doing, for the second time, we're doing the Monster Expo. That is spelled Monstah, because it's in Massachusetts, so it's got to be hilarious. So it's the Monster Expo, just XPO, and it's called Halfway to Halloween. We did this show actually last fall. It was the very first one, and actually ran into Monster Zero there. He was just kind of hanging out. And
in a corner, just doing nothing.
just being the creepiest guy in a horror expo.
Yeah, exactly.
It was meandering. No, it was cool saying hi to him. But yeah, that was the very first one, and obviously to you guys, maybe not to everybody listening, I don't know, but like in Massachusetts, we kind of went from feast to famine as far as horror conventions go. I mean, we obviously had Rock and Shock for 14 years?
I think that's right. Yeah, 14. Yeah.
I mean, that was like something I took for granted. I mean, it's like it's been here forever. It's always going to be Rock and Shock, and then it was just there wasn't. And I met a lot of cool people at Rock and Shock, and I met a lot of celebrities that were cool. I met you guys. I met Derek Rook. Like I met lots of people in the con scene. And I get a lot of fond memories of that show, and I know you guys do too. And I mean, obviously, I know you guys know Barbary and everything. Like that show like was a big hit, and a big. What I mean to say is, losing it was a big hit. Losing it hurt. And then on top of that, there was also Scaricon, which we had a few times.
Yep.
3 or 4 times, I think, and that just imploded. The management imploded. We have Super Mega Fest, but I don't think they've been back since before the pandemic. I think 2019 was the last Super Mega Fest. I could be wrong on that. There might have been one last year. I think 2019 was the last one up here. But that's not horror. It's like more of a general Comic-Con sort of thing. But
yeah, pop culture-y.
But yeah, like the Warriors went one year.
Yeah.
Like all the Warriors,
We also had to the. I mean, it's still New England, like Rhode Island Con, the Boston cons. Like, yeah, right. It was
the horror cons all left though.
Yeah.
And it just really, really sucked. So Monster Expo is, a down home horror con, and we were like hell bent to support it. We had a really good time last year. We met great people. Lisa Wilcox was there. She was kind of like the biggest celebrity there. From Nightmare 4 and 5.
Mm-hmm.
Good time, really good time. Really, really looking forward to it. So they're back in the same location. It's actually in Fairhaven, Massachusetts, right next to New Bedford. It's at the Seaport Inn and Marina, and that's actually Saturday, April 30th, and Sunday, May 1st. So that's like kind of like
wow, it's coming right up. Yeah.
So we're ready. We got all our stuff. We got all our stock in stock, and we'll be selling. For me, we're going to be selling Bone Eater King, Marrow Dust, and Mark of the Witchworm. We're also going to be selling, Gore Shriek Resurrectus Volume 1 and 2, and some awesome Derek Rook art, and we got a lot of stuff in the works for the fall. We're hoping to. I'm not allowed to, give any actual previews, but we got a lot of fun stuff in the works, and for now we're gonna kind of have a good time in the spring, halfway to Halloween, and So if you're into horror cons and you didn't get to go to the last Monster Expo, the guest list is pretty cool. I would say the biggest guest is Tyler Mane.
Oh shit.
Sabretooth, and Rob Zombie's Michael Myers is going to be there. So looking forward to meeting him. I always thought he was really cool. So yeah, also actually this guy, Bob Egerton, is an amazing artist. I am actually really excited to meet this guy. He did a lot of art for Monsters of Filmland, like sort of more recently, not like in the 60s, but more like in the when it came back for a while, and like 2000s ish era. this guy is just like an amazing artist, and I actually have a T-shirt. My one famous Monsters of Filmland T-shirt is a picture of Boris Karloff as Frankenstein, and it's him. It's his art. And there's also there was a Godzilla collection that he did, like all these different Godzilla covers that he did. And there was a company that unfortunately is not on the web anymore. I wish they were, but they were the official. They sold all the official merchandise for Monsters of Filmland. They were the Captain Company, and I loved that website. I bought a bunch of stuff, but they had like this amazing poster set of all the Godzilla covers that he had done, and I actually bought that for my little bro 8-Bit Alchemy, who's one of the hosts on the Retro Octopus podcast. And he I mean, I say little, I mean the man is over 30 and taller than me, but you know, he's, what can I say? Yeah, like I'm hoping to get some of those signed. I'm like, you gotta bring your guts.
Yeah.
Like Bob, you gotta meet Bob. Bob's fucking awesome.
Well, looking at
Looking
the Monster Expo page, I see the guests. I see Tyler Main. I see Eugene Clark, Bob Eggleton, Tim Clark, and then you scroll down, and there's Derek Rook and Steve Van Sampson. You guys are right there. You got nice little pictures with all your work in the background, with the Monster Expo logo at the bottom. Look at that. You guys are moving up in the world. Awesome.
Ooh.
That's that's pretty fantastic. Of the 6 guests that are announced, you and Derek are 2 of them.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's really cool. So it looks like a cool con. I know MZ was talking it up last year when he was still on the show, and you know he had a good time, and you know he mentioned seeing you guys as well. So if anyone's in the area and you're looking for convention to go to, horror, it will be Saturday, April 30th through May 1st. You can just look it up, monsterexpos.com. And
it's super short though too. Like the whole weekend, the VIP pass for the whole weekend is like $35. And if you want to go for just one day and as long as you buy the tickets online, it's like $12 a day.
That's not bad at all. Yeah.
Really cheap.
That's fucking great.
I mean, it is a smaller con, but it is not microscopic. It's not all in one room. It's me and Maria. They have vendors set up all through the hallways and various function rooms. And really, I've sort of come to the realization that it's kind of my favorite way to have a con. There's actually Scaricon did this. So Scaricon was always at the same place that what's the other one I mentioned? The pop culture one. This went out of my head.
Megafest.
Super Megafest, yeah.
So they both go to the Sheraton, at least up here, they go to the Sheraton in Framingham, Massachusetts. I love when cons go there.
Yep.
Sheraton's really cool. It looks like a freaking castle, which is awesome. But like, it's great because like you have this like adventure sense when you're there, because you're like not sure where the con ends, and you're like, oh, there's another room. Oh my God, there's more people in there.
Yeah.
Like,
and
holy shit.
There's good fucking parking.
There's good fucking
fucking parking.
Fucking parking over there. It's nice.
I love this guy.
Oh my God, that has to be one of the most Boston things you've ever said. There's good fucking parking.
Good fucking parking.
Oh man.
One time, I'm outside of that Sheraton. You know who I met right there?
Who's that?
I met the Stuff.
The Stuff.
Bagwell?
No. It was a walking tub of the Stuff.
Oh, the fucking the horror movie.
Yeah. Are you eating it or is it eating you? The Stuff. Yeah.
I think Aries met Boba Fett and Chewbacca at one of those conventions.
I may have, but you know what? I believe that is premium content, so we're not going to talk about that.
Oh, okay.
Raven Shadow. I remember you met Hannah Solo. You remember that?
I remember that was an interesting convention. We also met some other people.
Now that's your kind of fantasy right there.
It was.
Yeah.
I did mention that I definitely would have shot first. Ooh. Hey.
I think you did. Like, definitely, you did.
All right. Let me see. Corny says, "Tell Steve that Wet Michael is my favorite alternate name for Sloppy Joes."
That's amazing. That comes from our show.
Is there any
disturbing?
Is there any
Lunch ups.
Is there any correlation with Michael Ravenshadow, Wet Michael?
No. I mean, maybe. Let's put it this way: there could be.
The crossover
Depends on the level of effort.
Yeah, it's true.
I would say.
Yeah.
Well, if there's any effort, it can't be involved with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Because Raven Shadow, no effort.
Yeah, you're gonna need minimum effort.
That's what my report card said. Tries to get by with minimal effort. Just 'cause, you know what? Why try?
Fails to get by with minimum effort.
I tried to get by, and I'm a pleasure to have in class. Okay.
Okay.
So yes, I contribute. Thank you, Stephen Van Sampson.
You're welcome. only man on earth who calls me Stephen Van Sampson.
I know, but that's
I know.
it's sexier.
It's
think it
sexier,
is.
huh?
It really isn't.
No.
If you hate it, I won't do it. But I think that's cool.
I love it. I love it. It's great.
All right.
It's kind of like
it's really good.
it's almost like there's like an echo. Stephen Van. Like it sounds like you have an echo when you say it like that.
That's actually one of the reasons why I just went with Steve.
Oh.
And also, you say Steve Van, it almost sounds like you're just saying Steven.
Yeah. Or Stefan. For people who say their name like that.
Psalm. Pretentious do I want to sound? The answer is some amount of pretentious. That's the answer.
Minimal, but Raven Shadow will bring it up to the next level.
Yeah. He is now known as Michael Ravenshadow.
Michael Shadow. Oui. Trick or Treat Radio.
You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio. Michael Ravenshadow.
Mick Will Foley.
Yeah.
Would you like sometimes we'll just go into goofy voices and accents on the show, and I just think it's really funny every time 8-Bit Alchemy does a French accent, he does Lumiere from Beauty and the Beast. That's all he can do. Every single time he's like, and then I do this, and then I talk like this, and let's come on over and be our guest. And like every single time, it's like,
Oh man.
Kills me.
Well, before we move on to the film discussion, is there anything else, Steve? I want to make sure we get all the plugs and talk about all the things.
I think we covered it, guys. I mean, thank you very much for letting me come on and blibbity blab about my cool shit that I try to make. And, definitely check out Monster Expo. Check out roughhousepublishing.com. The hardcovers of the book are limited and they come signed and numbered. I just signed a whole bunch more about, I think it was last weekend, 2 weeks ago, something like that, for this coming show. So we're all ready. And, if you want to come by and see us in person, please do. We love to meet new people, and we'll hang out and have a good time. But I'm happy to talk some Wormwood if you guys want.
Yeah, let's do it. So, Ravenshire, hear that? He did a little extra credit.
Well, yeah, he's overachiever.
It offsets the underachievers in the room.
Yeah, it's minimal.
If all you need to do to be an overachiever is to watch one movie instead of two movies, not really.
You don't know Michael Ravenshadow too well, then.
It takes him 3 days to watch an hour program.
Yeah, and he wants to start a podcast called Bomba Radio, in which he only watches like parts of movies while he's flipping through like TV, like flipping through the channels. He'll catch like 20 minutes of a movie. He wants to review that.
Yeah. In this game, I didn't know what it was, but I knew that Han Solo was in there, and he was in bunk beds, and he had a fucking plan.
And he was in bunk beds?
Yeah, they had bunk beds.
That's what you remember about Ender's Game.
He
was in bunk beds.
Oh my God, I had no idea what he was talking about there. That was really, I was struggling on that. Ender's Game.
Yeah, Ender's Game. Yeah,
I love how your go-to is Ender's Game.
Yeah, I know.
That movie's like 10 years old.
You bring that up every single time we bring up Bomba Radio.
Well, that was the catalyst. That means
all right. Well, then record Bomba Radio with Ender's Game.
All right. Well, Cody, give me a call, brother. I don't think Cody's on.
What?
And that was-
Why? Just do it yourself.
Why?
No, Cody's his co-host.
Yeah.
Even though
Okay,
they haven't
then
done
you
an
call
episode.
Cody
Yeah, you call
and
Cody.
do it.
Yeah.
He's not on social media.
Then call him.
All right,
Get-
Cody.
No,
Get-
you got saying his name on the show is not the same as calling.
No, it's like Candyman.
Yeah, now he's gonna stick his head out the window and just start shouting.
Yeah.
You can't just declare bankruptcy by saying I declare bankruptcy.
I declare bankruptcy.
I do declare bankruptcy.
Steven, welcome to our dilemma every fucking week.
No, I just may be onto something though, because like you remember like back in the day before there was streaming media, we had like, you know, I don't know, this phenomena doesn't exist really anymore, at least not to me, but maybe you guys are flipping through channels.
Thank you.
You see the same scenes in movies. Every time Temple of Doom comes on, it's the same exact scene. It's when they sit down and they're having the gross food.
Yeah.
Every fucking time.
Yeah.
Now, see, that's weird because back in the day when I would flip on Temple of Doom, it would always be the heart.
Oh, the heart's
The scene where we're trying to get Indy's heart out.
Alima.
Kalema.
Yeah. Now
I leave
that's
the
weird
fuck
that I flipped to the different scene than you like always flip to.
It's weird. Like I've talked to a lot of people. It's not always the same scene from person to person, but we all have that experience, right? Like
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
a movie that you kept seeing on TV, you'd flip past it, and it was always in the same part.
Yeah.
So
Now
weird.
see this is we need to dive into this. Like what scene on repeated movies did everyone end up on? Like what was the scene that you always ended up on? Like that's
Oh,
See, I think I stumbled upon an episode of Retro Redoctopus.
There you
this
go.
is
hey, Steve, give me a call. Give me a call. Because I'm never available, so you're gonna fucking call me.
all right.
Yeah.
All right.
I feel like Johnny Dangerously, it was always like the standing here with my dork in my hand or the Maroney with the robot would
See-
always be on.
You know what? I feel like standing here with the dork in my hand. I feel like yes. I would always flip past it. It was always he got blown up. And he's standing there with his dork in his hand. Yeah.
It's not your dork. It's like, oh, thank God.
Yeah.
Little buddy. Yeah.
I'm trying to think back to see if I have any because I don't really have any strong recollection of these, but I think Back to the Future, is when the Libyans show up. Like for some reason, like hey, Marty, they're here. I forget the line, but yeah, it's like
I
that
don't
scene.
know how they found me,
Yeah,
but they
they're-
found me.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Kind of like Savage Beach when like Cody Abilene was always on the boat.
Savage
You know what I mean?
Beach. That's the fucking movie.
Jesus Christ, what the fuck?
Or every time I flip past and Miami Connection's on, and it's always that fucking scene with the black guy crying over his desk. Every fucking time, like, dude, come on, man.
I'm thinking of this fucking Steen kid.
This is the saddest scene in a movie. This beats Artex in the Swamps of Sadness. I can't take this scene anymore.
That's fucking terrible. That's fucking terrible.
Oh man.
Horse died because he was sad.
The horse died. If they only named it something else, we talked about this in our last episode we just recorded. Like maybe if they just named it the Swamps of not so badness. I don't know. Like what?
Yeah.
They're setting you up. They're getting in your head. The swamp is getting in your head,
Yeah.
and the game's over before it starts. You're like, well, it's a swamp of sadness, so I'm gonna be sad. Like, the swamp of hand jobs or something. Like I don't know. Just
Wow.
That'd be a good swamp. I would. That's.
that would be a vacation hotspot.
Is that why?
What's the address on that?
Is that why Yoda's like, I'm going to the swamp? I am. I'm going to the hand job. Dagobah, home of the hand job.
Nailed it.
The home of the hand job.
Yeah.
Evil Corny is chiming in on his scene. He says the guy that was in toxic waste getting hit by the car in RoboCop is that scene for me.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Toxic waste thug.
That or the gas station scene seem to always be on.
I feel like I would always come into an Ed 209 scene, and there really aren't many. It's not like he's in a lot.
Yeah. All right, so let's wrap this up, and we'll head to a quick break because I know Raven Shadow is just dying to show Steve his mudroom.
I've seen all
let him go downstairs.
We took on a tour. Yeah, we're hanging out.
Yeah.
We were talking raw.
Yeah.
Talking raw in the bar.
We saw the swamp of dead bongs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
All
talk.
sorts.
Raven Shadow would say talking raw in the bar.
Yeah.
We did that.
We did that. We
totally did. We talked about the Eternals. We talked about Moon Knight. We talked about Green Lantern.
Yep.
Green Lantern.
Green Lantern, the fucking Green Lantern kid.
Steve, your fucking accent is really showing on this.
Yeah, is it because you're hanging out with Raven Shadow? Is that what it is?
Oh my god, it's been like rampant. I've been biting my tongue, but oh my god, like
Really? See, the Rough House boys keep it fucking real, man. They get the fucking accent.
Well, you know what's funny
I
is
actually don't have an accent. I just like making fun of Michael Ravenshadow.
Thanks.
you know what's funny, and this episode is episode 508. So
Shit.
508.
oh
508 area code right
yeah,
there
that's
in central
code.
Massachusetts. Yeah.
Yeah, 508
Wait,
911.
do we have a gang sign for that? Is that a
Yeah.
what?
Try
I don't
it.
have enough fingers for that. I don't know.
And do something wrong, and it's gonna. At least someone's gonna be mad. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm gonna get shot in my own house. I don't know.
Evil Corny also says wouldn't mind getting leeches in that swamp. What?
The hand job swamp. Those leeches can't be all bad.
Yeah.
Or
Jeez.
the bongs.
Oh, I'd rather enjoy the bathing.
All right, so let's quickly wrap this segment up. If you guys want to help support the show, there's a few ways you can do so. First and foremost, you can go to our Patreon, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. You can join for as little as $2 a month and get access to all of our Patreon exclusive episodes and all the other perks. So give that a look and consider supporting if you haven't already. By the way, we have something I think should be fun coming up for May. Raven Shadow, we're still trying to talk him into doing it, but we're doing a May the 4th special Patreon show. So keep an eye out for that next month. We'll give probably details on it next week. But so yeah, check out Patreon, patreon.com/trickortreatradio. Also, we have the website, trickortreatradio.com. You can scroll down, look for the Amazon logo. You find it, you click it, it brings you to Amazon. It inputs our affiliate link. You're going to purchase a ton of shit. You know what? We get a little cut. Everything you purchase in that session will get attributed to us. It doesn't cost them any extra, Raven Shadow.
But it's another way to help keep the lights on.
And the final way to help keep the lights on is also on trickortreatradio.com. There's a store. Click it. We have the greatest hits of Trick or Treat Radio Volumes 1 through 3. You guys can hear the highlights, the lowlights, the midlights, everything in between, the songs, the interviews, the arguments. It's all there. It's like a sampler of sadness. There you go.
Better than this.
So give that a look and support the show so we can keep it going. All right, well, that is going to wrap this segment up, but Raven Shadow is going to lead us into the next one. We're going to take a quick break, but before we do, Raven Shadow is going to let us know what he did to prepare to watch Wormwood Apocalypse. What'd you do, Raven Shadow?
Oh man, I fucking get excited, Johnny. Because I knew Steve Van Samson was gonna be on from House Publishing. So I'm flipping through my fucking copy of The Bone Eater King, which I adore so much. You know what I mean? Because he's very talented, and that calms me down. It calms all of it down. And then fuck it, man. I want to talk this movie. I think about zombies, like zombies. I want to go to is it Monster Expo?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm thinking about going to Monster Expo on a Sunday, Marion, buy some tickets online.
Yeah.
So definitely, I'm strapped on.
Greetings! We are the Retro Reductopus Cephala Podcast, a bi-weekly show that celebrates all the things that made growing up awesome.
He's right. We wax philosophic about lots of geeky crap like old video games and movies, toys, cartoons. I don't know, help me out here.
Music, pants,
quoting video games that don't have dialogues,
Shabibans.
tasty news,
Unnecessarily long Japanese onomatopoeia.
butt breathers, uncomfortable nature facts.
Or how to install a Samoflange.
And unlike all those other podcasts, we at Retro Octopus have an exciting rotating host schedule.
Do we?
We sure do. So, if you didn't like the guy flapping his gums this week,
Like me.
worry not, gentle listener. Next week, we'll have a whole new host.
Of problems.
Hey, they might still suck, but they'll suck differently.
And you know what's really cool? Retro Octopus is part of the Inebriard Podcast Network, with new episodes out every Tentacle Tuesday.
Which is like every other Tuesday. We named it.
Anyways, you can listen to us at iTunes, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, or straight from the tab from doctopus.buzzsprout.com.
Thank you guys for having me on. It's a blast. You guys are awesome.
Thank you so much.
And, Trick or Treat Radio, man. That's where it's at. That's the new Fangoria Radio is Trick or Treat Radio.
Oh,
Don't say that. That's like,
You really put us under.
it's like swearing in church. I
You
don't know.
just jinxed us.
You put a lot on our shoulders just now.
Well, we can strive for
You
greatness.
guys are awesome.
Yeah,
you really
just
are. You
say
got a
that again
great show.
slowly.
You go through your week with the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it. The Cromcast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories with your hosts John,
Josh,
and Luke. We have action,
horror,
and adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard. Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
Find your pulp life at thecromcast.blogspot.com.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast. A podcast for the barbarian at heart.
This is Chocolate Beast. You're listening to Trick or Treat Radio, but you should be eating nougat.
All right, we are back on Trick or Treat Radio. And at least I think we're back. Yes, we are back. Some of us are back. Most of us are back.
Yes.
The important ones are back. That's all that matters.
I drowned Michael Ravenshadow in the swamp. I just there he got out. He got out and cleaned himself so quickly too.
Although with your presence there, this is one of the quickest he's returned.
It is very true. Yeah. So thank you.
I mean, hey, the guy's got a crush. He's got a crush. I can't do nothing about that.
Is that true, Raven Shadow?
What?
You got a
You
crush?
got a little man crush going
yeah,
on?
A little man crush going on?
Yeah, if I see a unicorn, I'm going to ride it. You know what I'm going to do?
You say Steve's a unicorn?
Let's say a special guy.
Oh,
Thank you, man. He's very magical. He's very magical.
oh Jesus.
You know,
All right. So
You look good with his haircut.
thank you. I can't. I'm because that'd be like it'd be like if I knew he was sick. You know, I would look. Yeah, I would look. I would be.
You should try that haircut.
Oh, man.
Yeah, be hard times. I would. I mean, it's a matter of time, I suppose. But yeah, no. Thank you.
All right, so let's jump into this flick. We're going to talk about Wormwood Apocalypse. This film just got a release on VOD on the 14th of April here in America. And I think it's been available, at least playing in theaters in Australia for a little bit longer now. But it is an action horror film from the Roach Turner brothers, Kaya and Tristan. And this one is directed by Kaya Roach Turner and written by Kaya Roach Turner and Tristan Roach Turner. And the film stars Luke McKenzie, Shantae Barnes Cohen, Jake Ryan, Bianca Brady, Tazia Zalar, Jay Gallagher, and Nicholas Bouchier, Tristan McKinnon, and Goran Klut as the Doctor. And the synopsis for this one: in a zombie-infested Australian wasteland, Soldier Rees has dedicated his life to tracking and capturing survivors for the Surgeon General in hopes of finding a cure. And this is a follow-up to the film Wormwood Road of the Dead, which was released, I believe, in 2015, or at least that's when we covered it back on the show. So we're going back over 7 years is when we did the original flick. So if you guys want to happen to listen to that, it's episode 135. So we did that. So if you want to check that out, you can listen to us talk about Wormwood Road of the Dead, the original. And but now we're going to jump into the sequel. So years later, the Roach Turner brothers have revisited this. They've been trying to get it off the ground for a while. I do know that. And in between, they also did a film called Necrotronic, which we also did on the show. And it was kind of like I think it had like a pretty good following at like Fantasia Fest and had a pretty good festival run. And it also featured Monica Bellucci, who was in that film. So we did that. That one was a couple years ago, but so this is the latest film from the Roach Turner brothers, and I've been kind of like hearing about this one on and off for the last few years. I know they've been trying to get it off the ground, and they finally were able to. So was super curious to check this out, and I'm glad we got a chance to view it. So I actually did not. I did not watch the original again. So it's been 7 years. Memory's a little foggy in terms of all of the kind of ins and outs of what had happened. I do remember some of the characters that were in this one and some of the events that happened in the first one as well. Now, Aries, if I'm not mistaken, you did not see the first one, correct?
I did not see the first one. I was going to try to watch it, but then Batman dropped, so I watched the Batman instead. Sorry.
Priorities, I guess, right?
Yeah.
So, and Raven Shadow, do you have any recollection of the original Wormwood?
I remember. I think I enjoyed it. I think we enjoyed it.
Yeah, for the most part, I think we did. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a lot of, if I probably saw a trailer, it would have triggered some stuff, but I didn't necessarily remember.
You do know that trailers are like 90 seconds, and you can just pull them up at like a moment's notice.
Well, you should have fucking told me yesterday, Johnny. I didn't.
You didn't know that.
I don't know. I don't know how trailers work.
We'll blame Steve for this one.
Don't blame fucking Steve.
You know what, Steve? Welcome to the show.
Oh,
time to take on some of the blame.
Well, you know what I can take on is a little synopsis if you'd like, because I actually just watched both of them in a row for this show.
So there's.
Oh, I'd love to hear what you have to say about at least the first one, because you might spark some recognition out of Raven Shadow.
So basically, the two main characters are the girl Brooke is the main zombie chick, and her brother is another B. It's like Billy or Bo or
Barry.
Okay. Can I tell a story like Michael Ravenshadow though, real quick?
You can tell however you want.
All right, so the fucking story starts out right, and it's like these two guys trying to find some parking, but they
parking.
So the first one starts out for like 5 minutes, everything's normal. It's like pre-apocalypse, and then shit hits the fan really quick. And so really quick, we deal with Barry and Brooke are in separate places, and the apocalypse happens, and then they spend the movie trying to find each other, basically. But she gets captured by this evil doctor guy who was very over the top. There were certain characters that were like kind of grounded, and you felt like, yeah, okay, this is just a normal human. And then other ones were like cartoon characters, and that's sort of like what they kept going with the sequel as well. So it's definitely like a horror comedy in there too. But you know, it had some fun stuff, you know, and they built a lot of new like world building zombie lore into that first movie that probably didn't need to do. Most zombie movies don't bother trying to push the envelope and trying to add anything to the genre. One of the biggest things is that in this world they said the plague was airborne, and everybody who has survived had a certain blood type. I don't remember if it was AB negative or what it was specifically, but it was like one blood type is immune for some reason. So, okay, all the survivors are just that blood type. But then the zombies, when they breathe, they have this like cloud of CG gas that they breathe. Burps, they're burping everywhere. And I was very certain that this was telling me that it was that was the airborne pathogen, basically. And Barry, before he realized that he was immune, he wears a gas mask. So when his wife and daughter, they're fleeing. When they take it off, they instantly become infected, and then he takes his off and he's fine, and he can't die. But I was like completely sure. I'm like, oh, but the gas that they're breathing, they're showing us a visual like representation of the contagious airborne pathogen.
Yeah,
and it's actually not necessarily that. They use it for something very different, and somebody else must remember what that is, right? You guys remember what they do with the zombies, right? With their gas.
Is it different in the first one than the second one?
I mean,
same.
Yeah, I mean, they use them for fuel, right?
Yeah. So the one thing maybe I missed it. I feel like it wasn't explained. Evil Corny will know. Evil Corny will tell me I'm wrong. But I think that like they didn't explain it, but inexplicably gasoline just stops being combustible for some reason. Like you're driving your car and all of a sudden it just conks out and you're done. And then they do a little experiment and they're like, yeah, look at this gas. They have gasoline and they touch like fire to the gasoline and it won't ignite. Just I don't know if they said a reason for it or what, but they had to find a new fuel source. And so one of the characters is like, well, all the zombies are breathing this weird green gas and it happens to be flammable. So maybe we can like, I don't know, call me crazy, hook one up to like my car and like use it as a fuel source. So kind of different, but fun. Like I appreciate that kind of stuff. Little details, they make it.
Yeah, and I think that, and Steve, as someone who's an author, I mean, you could probably speak to this, but like you don't want to necessarily eschew all the established lore, like if you're dealing with vampires or zombies or any type of monster. Like it's almost like a sort of a shorthand where you can take advantage of that and you don't have to describe everything. But you could also take, kind of subvert it a little bit to make it feel new and unique or different. Would you say that is kind of a smart tactic to use, like well-tread sort of like tropes, but kind of twist them a little bit?
I mean, 100%. That's 100% exactly what I did with Bone Eater King and Meridust. For my world, I wanted it to feel familiar and also fresh. So, you have a built-in genre that is going to, pull people in who are fans of zombies or vampires or whatever. And but when they're actually reading it, you want them to not be bored because they've already seen this a billion times. And let's face it, like vampires and zombies have been done to death. Yeah. So it's like, I did appreciate, and you're right, using it as shorthand is a really good way of describing it. You're right. You don't have to bother explaining a lot of stuff. Like we don't have to have a scene where like the dead are coming back to life. Like,
right? But they eat human flesh. What?
They eat human. Yeah, right. You just don't need to bother. That's fine. we get it.
Well, apparently it should have been explained a little bit in the first movie as to why they needed this. Is that gasoline only has a shelf life, has a very limited shelf life. The processed gasoline that we all enjoy in our lives now has a very limited shelf life of being combustible. So the apocalypse comes, all our vehicles are useless unless we find a different means of...
Not the electric ones.
Not the electric ones. Well, but then we need to find...
Right, then you got to plug it in.
Oh, yeah. But this... I mean, like I said, I didn't see the sequel, I didn't see the original. The sequel diving into the breath being the combustible fuel. I really enjoyed that. That brought into a different element of the zombie genre that I hadn't even thought of. Like, you know what? Because everyone drives around cars in these movies, you don't even think about it. But this movie did address that and came up with a solution, and I loved that aspect of it. The breath being the fuel, and that was great. It addressed the problem and solved the problem all in one.
Right, because I mean, Walking Dead has addressed it, but it's just the answer is siphon gas that you find. So that has now been done. So big deal.
Oh yeah, but you know what? In Walking Dead, siphoning the gas, depending on the time period, it wouldn't work.
Yeah. Well, in the
because you know what? I'm going to drop a little science on the show.
Oh,
ooh.
Gasoline.
Timestamp.
The liquid isn't actually flammable. It's the vapors that come off of it, and that's why it, over a period of time, is no longer flammable.
Right.
But how much?
It's not a flammable liquid. It's the vapors that come off of it.
It's giving Raven Shadow the vapors.
In the first one, it happened so quickly. It was a matter of like, the zombie apocalypse happened this morning, and we drove away, and like an hour later, my car conked out because the gas stopped being combustible.
Yeah.
So it's sort of there. I hear what you're saying, and that could have been what they went with for sure. They could have had time pass and been like, the gas just isn't working. Why isn't it working? And it could have absolutely been what you said. But the way that they presented it in that first movie, it happened like the same day, basically.
I mean, that seems very short because it usually is months, and usually even as it's going bad, you can sputter your lawnmower back to life after the winter of it's sitting in the shed. But once you get beyond that, 4 or 5 months, then you're not going to get it started. So they may have played with the idea of gas going bad, but I mean, this, you know what? Movie magic.
Yeah.
And like I said, they might have said something and I just missed the line or something. But anyway, no big deal. It was fun.
So there's a nice little recap for those folks who haven't seen the original film, or for the ones who have seen it but haven't seen it in years, like myself, Raven Shadow, and also Corny said he hadn't seen the first one in a long time either. So, but I think right off the bat, I mean, we get some familiar characters. I do remember Brooke, played by Bianca Brady. She had a very kind of striking look to her, and I had actually forgotten about the part about her becoming a zombie in the initial one. But then as I was watching more, I remembered that she's able to control other zombies, which I thought is actually kind of a really cool power. I mean, we've seen that a little bit in other media, but it's not something that I've seen a ton of, and I think it's a super, super cool power. I mean, to be able to control other zombies is, that's kind of just a cool way to go about using it.
Right. Yeah, that was the other thing that happened in the first one. The second half of the movie was really dealing with what the doctor was doing to her. He was making her into a hybrid.
Yeah.
And he was injecting her with zombie blood. And eventually, that's how the first one ended. She ends up getting this power. She could like stop a zombie across the way, like on a dime. She could just reach out, just freeze whatever it was doing, and then she could like sick it on somebody else. It was fun. It was cool.
Yeah, there's
a zombie
Yeah, zombie mind trick, right?
Yeah, there's a really cool scene in this one here when Reese is about to sort of get eaten, and then all of a sudden he's like doing those like I forget what it's not a plank, but yeah, where he's like hanging upside down, like basically like bringing his legs up to his like basically parallel to the ground and holding it there like a crunch. And like I thought that was a really cool scene, and then also like as he's about to get eaten, all of a sudden all the zombies freeze, and then you see Brooke is controlling them. I thought that was a great scene.
Oh, it was so good. I mean, even like that when the one motherfucker was like had his like foot and about to bite his toe.
Oh yeah, right. Yeah.
Like
yeah.
And I was happy. I'd be eating. I would. That's like the Spartan workout that he's doing. Like I'd pull a muscle. And I would be.
Oh yeah, the core strength it takes to do that.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't have gotten your legs up.
Yeah, no.
I like that it seemed realistic because like they showed him doing like sit-ups and push-ups and doing his workouts and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, there's only so long you can hold that, like. So I thought that was like actually pretty realistic the way they did that. I really dug that scene.
And they made the viewer really squirm because the guy, it was like a militant guy, general guy, whatever. He hung that character Reese up from the trees there, and explained to him what was going to happen.
Oh.
He's like, first they're gonna eat your feet, and then your legs, then your balls, and like. It's like, oh my God, you hung him at that exact height so that like balls would be at essentially head height,
and
biting
like,
height.
You're a pretty tough guy. You'll probably still be alive when they eat insides. Like so you're like, you're brajol.
Brajol.
That's not good. I don't want that.
I'm sorry. What is the brajol?
Penis.
Okay.
I thought we were on the Rocky Mountain oysters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, because we will be on the balls. So I was just curious as to what the brajol was.
I went to Wormwood and I had the bowl.
Yeah, logical step. Yeah. Feet, legs, balls, brajol.
It's all fetish stuff, really.
Yeah. Brajol duck.
No kink shaming.
Yeah. Brajol.com. Is that your new site, Raven Shadow?
Brajol.com.
Bombaleo Joel.
Yeah.
Bajoleo.
We're still working on
So just for those keeping score, Raven Shadow's balls hang lower than his brajol.
Do they?
I don't know.
Well, because apparently the brajol is after the balls. So
it's really fucking dark down there. I can't see.
Yeah. I'll change the color of the lights in the studio. We'll put the blue light
I
on.
know if zombies are eating, that's how you see it. Balls and brajol.
Either day, it's bad. It's bad. It's the naughty zombies.
Yes, they were
naughty zombies.
Naughty zombies.
The other cool thing about that scene, though, was it was really where those two original heroes joined the story, because we got like a quick, just opening scene with Brooke and Barry where they were just kicking ass, and it was awesome. And it was like, okay, let's get this out of the way. We don't want the audience to think that we forgot about them, so we'll give you this really great opening scene. And then they're just absent for like the next half an hour of the movie. Yeah. So it was really cool, I think, that was their big reintroduction when they saved the what was his name, Reese, which it's interesting too because Reese ended up being revealed as the brother of the final villain from the first one.
Yeah.
The final physical threat that they had to deal with. The captain, I think, was his
Yep.
He was credited as the captain in the first one. But he was just sort of a faceless soldier because they all had, stormtrooper helmets, basically.
Yeah.
And he takes it off and he's that actor. But what a great fist fight. Going back to the first one, what a great choreographed fist fight. Very brutal fight between Barry and the captain. I really dug that. I know we're here to talk about the second one, but that was a really good fight scene. If you guys go back to that.
The thing that stood out to me that I remember about the first one, clearly it's a very low budget film, but they were able to, I think make it look flashy enough, and like with what they had, it was really impressive of what they were able to accomplish. So with a little budget, I mean, they were able to get a lot out of that. And I think that there's some good gore. I think it looks really good, and I think that extends into this one as well. I think that once again, there's some hand waving. I mean, you can't fucking blow up shit on a small budget. So they have some CGI in this that, like is less than stellar, but I feel like they do a really good job of editing and really masking it to make it appear that it doesn't look terrible. And I think that they were able to do that. And there's some kind of cool like set pieces in this as well. And just even like the vehicles and like even the gear that they're wearing, like a lot of care went into this to make it believable, because you could do a movie like this and without much of a budget and trying to piece together some costume stuff, it could really go wrong, right? Like,
and that's the thing. Like, I would agree. There's some CGI stuff that did stand out. Okay, the Gatling gun,
the explosion at the end.
Some explosions, sure, but that's not too far off on what like CW or some other shows would do, and it's not a detriment. They did it, but there was some really good practical stuff too. And right, the costumes, the outbreak outfits, the Australian Eric Bana's gear look really cool. I liked his G.I. Joe vehicles.
Australian Eric Bana, okay.
Yeah,
which is redundant because he is Australian.
No shit. Really?
Yeah, so I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Pull out of a hat. You would pull out of.
You know what? I'm sorry. We're gonna dive into that. Explain that one, Raven Shadow.
I didn't know he was Australian. I didn't know that. I thought. Yeah,
wow. Okay.
It's the Australian Mel Gibson.
Can we mark that down as Raven Shadow just admitting he's full of shit?
The American Mel Gibson.
Yeah, well, give away my record. I mean, I didn't. Oh yeah, now that Steve.
I'm sorry, you don't own up to when you're full of shit. Usually, you like double down and try to like.
For the most part, no. But yeah, I didn't know that.
I'm sorry. Do you listen to the show? Like
my parts?
Yeah, his parts many times.
Your parts. Well, you know what? Your parts are the problems. Are the problems with the facts.
Well, you don't need facts there. But I didn't know. I so good. I mean, yeah. He was all right. Well, all right.
He's at Thunder from Down Under. I didn't know about it.
I didn't know.
All right. So anyone listening, this is like a minute and a half of your life's gone for no good reason. For no good reason.
I thought Mel Gibson was Italian.
He might be.
No, he's not. No,
Italian.
I think he's Jewish.
Well, I mean in the
boy.
I'm sorry. Was it allowed? I apologize.
Put it on Aries on that one. What do you think about that?
That's really all you ever need to tell these guys. Anytime you're wrong about anything, Michael Raven Shadow, all you need to say is you're talking about a different multiverse.
That's exactly what I'm trying to say. Is that Eric Bana in the multiverse that I know of in Earth OU812? He's French Canadian.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at 5150, he's Sammy Hagar.
Thank you. Yeah. On Earth Diver Down,
yeah.
You know what I mean? He's a Navy SEAL.
He's Diamond Dave.
I love the fact that you gave him an outright of Steve, and he still fucking screwed it up. Like,
no, I didn't.
You kind of did. Like, you handed him the hand grenade to get out, and he threw the pin and held the hand grenade.
It's a multiverse, Aries.
You can't be wrong in the multiverse. You just haven't been to the right verse.
You kind of can be. Like, you like embrace the multiverse where the Nazis won. Like, you picked the wrong multiverse.
I didn't embrace that fucking multiverse.
Yeah.
And to be fair, that's Earth 3, okay? By the way. Thank you.
So we don't need to do a full sort of plot synopsis or rundown of this, but I like Steve said, I did like how this began. Like, we get introduced to some new characters, and they, if I'm not mistaken, weren't they the children of the character from the first one, right?
They were the nieces. Of, Benny. A lot of B names.
Yeah, there is. And yeah, okay, so that's right. So Benny died in the first one. So these are his nieces, and I actually thought these characters were pretty cool. I like what they did with them, and like we get a lot of characters in this, which typically for like a small low budget film, you probably will see him focus on like one or two characters. But I actually like that we kind of spread it out. We mostly got to sort of be with Reese for a while, and then we meet Maxie and Grace, the nieces, and then we get to see Reese doing all his stuff with like the Surgeon General and bringing in the catching other humans and bringing them to the Surgeon General for God knows what, and I think it's kind of a cool little establishing story. And then we get back into the sort of thick of it as we get reintroduced to Brooke and Barry. And I think it's kind of cool the way they do it. And I really liked a lot of the stuff that happened in this. There's some good action. There's some good interesting ideas, especially as it relates to zombies. Like I really liked Reese's his whole sort of like setup where he's got his own camp and he's got his routines down, and like he has like the meat that he like always will throw to get the attention of the zombies so he can get in and out of his place. So like this dude had it all down, right? Like it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, it kind of brought to mind The Last Man on Earth, like the original Vincent Price one. Like, you really, really had his routine down. It was just sort of like second nature. He wasn't scared. He wasn't worried about anything. It's like, yep, do this, put that meat there, that kind of stuff. Hang this garlic over here.
Yeah.
Kind of cool. I do want to mention also that I was really digging, and one of my big things as a writer is representation, and to see some Aboriginal actors in this was really awesome. And that is something we need more of, is interesting non-white characters in genre flicks.
Yeah,
let's get some like stuff in, like, yes, Aborigines in a zombie movie, heck yeah.
Well, you know what, and not just in a zombie movie, just in any movie, and not being portrayed as the savage, uncultured people.
Right.
They were just part of society.
Right. Exactly. They're just people. They didn't have to be Aboriginal, but they were, and it was great.
Yeah, and you know what? They were just there. They were just the characters. Yeah, and that was what it was.
Yeah. So I just wanted to shout that out. That was really cool, I thought.
Yeah.
And it was also nice to see, you don't see too many Aboriginal women in these movies. Like, I can count on, like, my God, like I'm trying to think of any movie that they're represented in at all. It's
the last one was Crocodile Dundee.
There's Crocodile Dundee, and what's the Tom Selleck movie? And
Quigley Down Under.
Quigley. It's like so few Aboriginal people are ever shown in movies, and it's almost always guys, or it's like, and maybe an old woman. But these were like teenage girls, right. And like seeing them, I was like, wow, this is the first time I think I've ever. Yeah. I feel confident in saying I don't think I've ever seen Aboriginal teenage girls in a movie ever. So that was cool. Good for them.
Yeah, right, and to be representative as just equals. They were just the people, because even in Crocodile Dundee, as Raven Shadow said, although they weren't like portrayed as less of people, but they were like it wasn't as on par as the white man.
Yeah, they were like out in the bush, just yes, in their thing, a little bit separate.
I mean, it wasn't 100%. It was like they were at like 90% because of how they were portrayed.
I do love that guy in the first one. He's like, "Hi, Mick, how you doing?" Like, he's just like,
"Oh, look." I mean, you do gotta love, the characters in those movies. Yes.
Take a picture? No, you can't. Why? Because the lens cap's on.
Lens cap's on, yeah. Oh, you think it's gonna steal your soul? No, lens cap's on. You know.
All right. So that was almost like it needed to be. It's like they wanted to show them like in this sort of this native sort of way and make the audience feel stupid when the guy talks and he's perfectly intelligent and just like a normal person.
Right.
Yeah, well, that was about as close to as like level playing field as the 80s were going to get.
Yes.
And then at most you get the guy Gateway from the X-Men that would like teleport when the X-Men lived in Australia.
Yeah, with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, when they were fighting the adversary.
Yeah, right.
I'm tapping out. I'm tapping out of that. I don't even know what the fuck you guys are talking about.
I think Doctor Strange was involved.
I think so, yeah, when they were doing
For sure Forge was. Maybe
Forge.
They look the same.
The Siege Perilous.
Yeah. I don't know. When he fought the dire wraiths in his glass house. You know what they say about dire wraiths and glass houses. I don't know.
Don't throw stones.
I was hoping you knew. No.
Steve and I became best friends there. What do you think about that?
I think I'm out. I'm out.
I'm out.
I tapped.
Oh shit. So I think that it's hard for me to say. I'd have to rewatch the original one to see if I like this one better. I think just based on my memory of it, I think they're pretty much on par. I did like a lot of the stuff that happened in this. I really, there's something like, and Steve kind of mentioned, representation. Also, like a lot of times we've gotten it a lot more in the last several years, but a lot of times we don't really get like a badass like character played by a woman, and in this, the character Brooke is a total badass. And I love the way that she's portrayed. And it's just not like, she can control the minds of other zombies. And, I don't know. Like, I just think that is kind of the role that is typically given to a man. And I love that we got to see Brooke in this kind of role.
Yeah, I think that they, if you really want to have this conversation, I think they did objectify her a lot in the first one, just keeping her in bondage for the whole freaking time. And they made her suffer a lot and stuff, but she really did become a total badass for sure. And she's, I think, the character that people will associate this movie with. I mean, like, she's front and center on the covers. She's really, they know. I mean, she's got those eyes. The actress has some crazy eyes, even without the contact lenses. And, she's pretty cool. They definitely created a memorable character. I think she's the one I'm going to remember in 5 years,
Yeah.
Well, see,
definitely.
well, the problem is I think this movie poster misrepresented this movie. Like, you look at this poster, there's 3 females that are just front and center in this movie, but the main protagonist of this movie is a male. Like, this movie is trying a little bit too hard to I think after the fact someone went and was like, hey, this is a really progressive movie towards females and the aberrationaries, so they kind of doubled down on that without thinking about the actual story of this movie.
Yeah, I mean, you have a very good point, but I mean, that's marketing, baby.
It is marketing, and like I said, I think it was an after the fact thought, and I think it hurts this movie a little bit because of what they show in the poster to what they give you. Although Hollywood does that a lot, this movie is 100% like at fault with that. It doesn't represent what it is.
I mean, I guess I can kind of get behind that for me. I mean, I don't put a ton of stock into posters. Like, if this were at a theater and it was in like the, like you see the poster there, like that is kind of advertising. and I guess maybe I have a different perspective on this because when I like go through and kind of curate the films for the show and look through, I typically have like a write-up available. There's a poster, there's other stills and stuff like that. So maybe my experience is not quite what the normal, movie watching person's experience would be, because like if this ends up on some streaming site eventually, that's the poster that people are going to see probably, and then they're going to make a determination based on that. So I do feel that it has strong portrayal of women in this, and the characters that really stand out, I think, are Brooke, Maxie, and Grace. Even though Grace has a big role in this, she's not in it a lot. She's the one that Reese brought to the Surgeon General like relatively early on. So, she had a big role, but she wasn't on screen a lot. But they still played a big part in this. One of the other things I wanted to kind of mention about this is I feel like this film is very, this universe is very much grounded in like, I'm going to use finger quotes here and say reality, because I feel like if there were, like an apocalypse or a zombie apocalypse, like this seems somewhat realistic to me in terms of, and what I mean is like how Reese was sort of like surviving and how he had his own little area and how he was taking care of himself and, and things like that. So it felt like it was grounded in some semblance of reality, but then you have these characters like the Surgeon General who is completely over the fucking top. But I feel like they balance that really well in this. That can go horribly wrong when you have like these characters that are very much based in more of a sort of reality based narrative, and then you have these over the top supervillain type characters. That's something we see a lot in like cartoons, right, when we were younger. So actually, something I actually really like about that in this, it gives us this sense of almost like, not necessarily comedy, but it sort of like adds some levity to these intense situations. And I don't know, it's just kind of a fun thing to have these characters be a little over the top, I think.
Well, I think it makes a difference. I mean, let's, at this point, we've seen a lot of zombie shit, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Even watching this, like, Train to Busan is probably my favorite zombie movie of the last however many fucking years. And maybe it's the Australian thing that I thought was nice, that made it different. But I like that little element of melodrama and some of that top supervillains with what you might see in like a Romero or Walking Dead universe, for lack of a better term. Like, I liked that kind of take, and I think the Australian perspective was really cool. I thought that visually it was shot, the scene of them driving was really cool, and there was cool things that you probably wouldn't get in an American picture that made it a little bit different. And I'm more excited of a foreign zombie film than I am of an American zombie film. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, I guess I would agree with that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
Why?
I think it's just because
No. Raven Shadow. Why?
Not you, Steve. Raven Shadow.
He made the statement. I want you to answer that statement. Why?
This is the part where he tries to be a dick.
Yeah. Welcome to the show, Raven Shadow.
I know you.
508 episodes in. Yes, I am picking a fight. Why?
Because we've seen it already. We've already, like, how much more?
But what have you seen that a foreign movie is going to give you?
Have you seen Train to Busan?
You should.
Oh, is the answer no, Aries? I guess the answer is no. So I guess
but you're turning it around. You're
no.
turning around his question and asking him a question.
Thank you very much. That's exactly the psychological what I'm doing, because I watched Clockwork Orange 10 times, and I have semester of psychology, so I know how the human brain works, especially Aries. So I am turning it back on you. Have you seen Train to Busan?
No, I haven't.
That's it. Oh, so why don't you watch that, Ask that question next week.
Okay. So no, you know what? I'm going to double down and say it again. Why?
Why? What? So fine. Have we not seen?
What about a foreign zombie movie appeals to you more than an American zombie movie?
Because it has a little bit different take on it. Now, I think you could argue that 28 Days Later was a slightly different take, despite having the same.
That wasn't American, so.
No, it wasn't American. That's why.
Okay.
It wasn't American. That had a little bit more of an excitement to it. And fast zombies were not invented by 28 Days Later. No, it still had some of the same tropes. It still had the same tropes of, spoiler alert, I guess the army's bad, right?
Yeah.
I guess the army's going to rape somebody because we haven't seen that before. But at least it was a little bit of a different take, which I enjoyed that a little bit. Having it being foreign, at least spices up a little bit, little sprinkles of excitement, where maybe it's not the same mediocrity. The last true American zombie flick that I liked was Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead.
I knew you were going to say that.
And I'm not the only one who would say that. A lot of people who are intelligent of the genre would say that as well. But
am I not intelligent then?
But you kind of liked it. Chris Jericho liked it very much. Check out Talk is Jericho.
Wait. Because Chris Jericho liked it, that makes it an intelligent zombie movie?
He's an intelligent guy.
Now, mind you, I am not arguing whether that was an intelligent zombie movie or not, but that is not the last quote-unquote intelligent zombie movie.
But what's been better?
Remember the
No.
Oh.
We're not talking better because everyone has their line in the sand.
It's called
but they can enjoy beyond without getting beyond that line. I mean, forgive me, I don't remember the movie, but there was a zombie movie we watched where there was someone stuck in a high-rise apartment complex.
That was great too. That was very good. Yeah.
That was very good, and that was better than Zack Snyder's zombie movie.
It's not an apples to apples comparison.
And it wasn't American.
Why isn't it? It's a zombie movie, and it is better, in my opinion, better than Zack Snyder's
that was
zombie movie.
The Night Eats the World, Aries.
The Night Eats the World, yes. And that is a foreign zombie movie. And that is by far a different take on the zombie movies.
Right, and another movie
Not a different take on the zombie genre.
Well, see, I know you're sorry, Steve Ben Sampson. I know Aries is Dr. Know-It-All, but you've also not seen either. You've not seen The Battery either, which is also an American zombie movie, which is very, very good. But it had two guys. One was a pitcher and a catcher. You're familiar with that.
I'm sorry.
Wow.
You're telling me what I've seen?
I know you watched the Batman. That was very good. I know you didn't watch the prequel. That's the first movie of Wormwood. But I feel
it's not a prequel. It was
but
original.
You just said I didn't watch the Battery.
Did you watch The Battery?
But you said I didn't watch The Battery.
Did you watch? I'm asking you. Did you? I mean, I know the answer, but why don't you tell?
Why do you know the? This is okay. Different argument. Why do you know the answer to that?
Tell Steve Van Sampson why you didn't watch The Battery.
Steven.
Tell Steven Van
No. I want you to tell the world why I didn't watch that.
Why didn't you watch it, Raven Shadow? I'm curious too.
He was too busy washing his tights.
I was watching my tights. What were my tights doing?
That's a Batman.
Riding up your crack, apparently.
Yeah, apparently.
But no.
See, this is what happens when you assume. Now, I may not have been on the show when that was done.
Oh, we lost him.
Oh, no. Great time.
Oh, the world thinks we did this on purpose.
I have a silly face. I am fucking gone.
You froze. We can hear you now. Okay, you're good.
I am good. Okay.
But did you watch
bad
Snyder?
face? Yes, I did actually. You see what happens? I can watch a show without being on the show talking about it.
Well, then you're a big winner then.
It fucking blows your mind, doesn't it?
If I could just interject,
Please do.
I just want to say two words. Planet Terror. Because I like my movies. I like my zombie movies. Stupid.
Okay, I thought you were gonna go somewhere else with that. I'm glad you didn't.
No. I legitimately love that freaking movie. I love pastiches like nobody's business.
Yeah,
they did
amazing.
a great job making a 70s pastiche. I saw that in the theater. I saw the Grindhouse experience with both movies. I love that movie, and it never gets mentioned at all ever in the zombie conversation, and I think it did a lot of really different fun stuff. It was an American zombie movie. Thank you. It was, I don't know if it's before, I feel like it's before Dawn of the Dead.
No, I think it's after.
You think it's after?
I think Planet Terror was 2007-ish.
I can't remember which came first. But I dig that movie a lot. I think it's a really, really fun movie.
Yeah, I mean, it's no Zombievers or whatever the fuck came out.
I mean,
after.
Zombievers had a giant beaver bear.
True.
I mean, there's not any other movie that can ever claim that.
No,
I wanted to see the giant Zombiever bear fight the Lake Placid alligator.
With Betty White.
With Betty White riding it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, all I want to say is that I think a foreign element can add a little bit of spice and something different to it, and that's something.
Is the spice your little accent?
The spice.
Yeah, that's your accent.
The spice is my penis.
Yeah. AKA
The little spice.
Oh man.
Raven.
Oh, we're getting high fives in studio. Look at this.
Oh Jesus!
Look at this.
Christ.
Look at these guys. Start your own show.
Steve,
wait, hold
I'm not gonna lie to you.
Wait a second.
I lost a little bit of respect.
Hold up. This is what I do. I've been bringing back the high five since 2006. I pulled that.
I don't care how long you've been bringing it back. A little bit.
No one else I'm bringing back.
I lost a little bit of respect.
I'm also bringing back boom. Tough acting to acting.
Oh shit! Tough acting to acting.
Yeah,
I know about that.
Yeah.
What about and boom goes the dynamite?
No, I mean sure, everybody.
I don't
knows
think that
boom
ever
goes-
went away.
I mean, who says boom, tough acting to acting? I do.
Yeah, tough acting.
So, like I don't know if I can use it in a sentence right now.
Yeah,
I don't know. I think that kind of died with Madden.
Wow.
I'm bringing it back, sir. I'm bringing it back. Since 2006. It has.
Are you trying to say you're better than Madden?
No, I'm picking up. He passed the torch to me. I'm continuing the torch.
He lateraled it to you. To use a football.
Although, to be fair, if I lived in Acton, Massachusetts, I would have a comic shop named Acton Comics. That'd be very funny to me.
Tough acting comics.
Yeah, Tough Acting Comics.
It's not your best.
It's not not my worst either.
Oh my God! Yeah, I think it's close to your best though.
Thank God.
I can't even.
Corny said, "Get a room." I think he's talking to you two over there at the layer of
they have
swag.
a room. Problem is find a different room because we're on camera in that room. So
First of all, we have several. Okay.
yeah, so go to a different room.
Aries, just fucking, just have sex with Michael Raven Shadow and be done.
No, excuse
I
me.
think
You're
he
the
wants-
one that's
yeah, I think-
gonna.
I think he
he's
wants
gonna
to
like
have sex
pleasure
with
you.
He wants
so
you to
fun.
read. He wants you to read your book to him in bed.
Dude, I'm happily married. I'm fine. I mean, I can't do anything about it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I'm saying he's angry though. There's some. You're right.
Steve's like, I wish I could, but my hands are tied. I'm married.
Yeah.
I'm gonna say, I'm a faithful guy.
It's a matter of
we could get the missus on the phone and she can give you the day pass for it.
The day
So
pass.
forever has a shelf life. It's fine.
Raven Shadow knows that.
Yeah. It took my lawyer $300 a fucking phone call. It's fucking great.
And you thought like $1.99 a minute back in the day was expensive, right?
No. Suddenly calling to save Jason Todd's a lot more reasonable. Years later. But no, Aries is fucking out of his mind, though, right, Steve?
Why am I out of my mind? What?
Shit,
What did I do now?
I thought he was gone.
I mean, all I'll say about
I'm still here. I just need to stand up. You got me so stressed. I need to stand.
got me so stressed.
I'm just pretty sure he's of the line of Dwalin. That's all That's all I want to say about Aries.
Yeah.
The line of dwelling.
He's so fucking dwelling right now.
Yeah.
Oh God damn it! I hate you guys. I'm gonna drive there and smack the both of you.
It's Balin and
you
Dwalin.
see that, Steve? You've made me that. This is the first time I've threatened a guest. Are you happy?
Oh, no, it's not. No,
wait.
it's not.
I can't wait.
Who?
In a long time.
No, I've never threatened a guest. I guess everyone can mark this on the calendar. Steve Van Sampson is now the first guest that I've threatened. I hope everyone is happy.
You're just talking about a threat. Where's the threat itself?
Because I'm going to drive there and smack the two of you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to smack you with Raven Shadow. How do you like that?
Hey, you guys remember? So the last time I was on in 2019, you guys remember that night when there was a sound outside and
oh shit!
Like with the piss and vinegar of hell and like somebody, and it ended up it was Patsy from Throw It on Thursday.
Patsy, yeah.
Just dropping off the rent.
He almost died.
Almost died. Yeah. Because Ares is a motherfucking berserker dwarf from Moria. That's why.
Hey, can we lose the dwarf? I'll accept every other thing except for the dwarf.
The dwarves are fucking badass, dude.
Excuse me, I do believe I'm taller than you.
No, it's not a height thing. It's a beard thing. You should be confident
beard
enough.
thing.
It's a beard thing.
Yeah, it's a beard thing. Just be confident enough. That's awesome. I couldn't grow that fucking thing if I tried for 17.
That thing. It's
that
majestic.
That thing on your face.
Thing on your face. There was an entire thing.
It's majestic.
It is. It's good. It is good.
All right, I want to start to wind this down. We got to let Steve Van Sampson get to bed. Otherwise, Raven Shadow.
We asked talking about a movie. I forgot about that.
Otherwise, Raven Shadow is going to try to get him to go in his room, and
they're going to go cuddle in bed.
Steve doesn't want that.
No, don't make it weird.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. I can handle myself. I can say to him. It's fine. It's not even a problem.
It's fine. A couple of these dudes fucking down by the bar.
Wait. Say that slower. Well, guys, inadvertently we had a double worm episode. Pretty awesome. Mark of the Witch Worm, Wyrmwood Apocalypse. Pretty cool theme. I don't know if you planned it or not, but that worked out pretty well.
It's funny. So we're not done with you yet. We got to do the verdict, but as Raven Shadow had mentioned to me, because we've been talking about who we want to have on for guests, and Raven Shadow's trying to do his job as a public outreach assistant, right? Is that what it was, Raven Shadow?
Yep, POA.
He's a real POA.
POS.
So Raven Shadow had mentioned that he had reached out to you and Derek, and we were still trying to figure it out. So as I was trying to figure out this episode, I was like, oh, okay, I remember Raven Shadow reached out to those guys. Let me reach out and see. And it actually did occur to me when I saw on the list that we're going to do Wormwood Apocalypse. I was like, oh, we can have Steve on because Witchworm and Wormwood are like this, basically the same thing.
Brilliant.
So it did make a connection in my brain. So
hold on.
You guys have insight into how my brain works and how apparently
a little like Raven Shadow, apparently.
No, please take that back, Aries.
I'm sorry. Because there was one word in similarity. That's a little Raven Shadow. I'm sorry.
Did you just go away to do like 5 shots and come back?
I was just right there. I just stood up right there. If there was enough room here.
Wait, hold up. That's not a no.
No, that's not. No, but I drink on camera.
Oh.
I just stood up. If I stand up here, everyone's just getting a dick shot, and no one wants that.
Might be some people.
This is what happens if I just stand up here. Just all kind of dick.
Steve's
That's just a dick.
Steve's into dwarf dick. It's all right.
Really, it's just the beard. Don't make it weird, dude. What? Make it weird?
Evil Corny says, "Do it, Aries. Smack them down, and your journey to the dark side will be complete." And then he also says, "Run, Steve," before he pulls the Uncrustables out. Steve's gone. There he goes. All right, so what's that, Steve?
That was a nice quick exit, though.
Yeah, it was.
Bravo on that.
Yeah.
You got that down.
I prepared him. I told him he needs to be ready to leave Raven Shadow's room at a moment's notice.
Drop the hat.
All right, so was there any, before we head to the verdict, was there anything else about this film you guys were dying to talk about that we haven't brought up yet?
I think we covered it. I think we covered good stuff. Like certainly everything that I would take away from it, all the things that made it special.
All right, so what we'll do is we'll head to the verdict, and you guys think of anything else, you can go ahead and do it during your verdict. So let's do that.
Trick or treat, baby. I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
All right, verdict time. We're going to let you know whether Wormwood Apocalypse was a trick or a treat, and any final thoughts we may have. Raven Shadow, why don't you show Steve how this is done?
Ooh.
Stoop. No, I think it had good action. I think it was shot really well.
A little plucky spirit.
Passion with a plucky spirit. I like that it had a foreign element, Aries. That maybe kept me guessing, and I like the fact that there was the diversity. I think you didn't see what was coming. I like that there was a antidote to the zombie.
To the zombie gene.
The zombie gene, the zombie problem. I like powers. I like the nefarious supervillains and outbreak outfits.
I gotta ask, what's the foreign element?
It's fucking set in Australia, Steve, right?
Okay, I just wanted to make sure you knew that. I don't know, I'm just making sure.
You fucking miss it? Like, goddamn it. I'm going to be on the fucking retro show. I can't fucking do it.
I can't say it, yeah. It's called the retro show.
I don't know. I have a hard time with Oz, okay? I have a hard time with Oz. But I like school lunches.
Do me a favor. You have Bombaleo. We have our own word, too.
Yeah. It's every fucking Tentacle Tuesday. They fucking named it.
No,
you know what I mean?
Well, it's not that. It's Shabibin.
Shabibin
is our Bombaleo.
Oh, Shabibin.
There you go. So you feel real good about something, like maybe you made a good sandwich and you're like about to eat it, and you're like feeling good about it, and you're like, Shabibin.
That feels good, right?
Yeah,
Shabibin.
Yeah, Shabibin. Yeah.
That feels good.
It's like Bombaleo. It's the same thing.
Shit.
Same thing.
We should share that. We should share.
And I love how the fact that the part of the word that you have trouble with has no R's in it, but you say, I have trouble with R's.
Well, the retro Redoctopus, I think it's got two.
Well, he says retro and then whatever.
Yeah, a lot of
There's 3 R's.
There's 3 R's, and you can only say 2 of them.
Yeah.
Retro.
Anyway, so pretty good movie.
It's a pretty fucking good movie,
pretty
Steve.
movie.
Pretty fucking good movie, right? You know what I mean? What do you
pretty
fucking do? There's fucking outbreak outfits. There's fucking machinations. There's like some G.I. Joe shit going on. There's zombie fucking antidotes. There's googly eyes, which I like. Sexy zombie googly eyes.
Yeah. That chick had some big eyes.
Yeah, I like that.
She had huge
tracts
eyes.
of land. No, that's somebody else. But no, overall, yeah, treat, man. Fucking watch the first one. It's been 7 years, but I wish I'd watched the first one again like Steve Ben Sampson.
There's worse things you could do with your time.
Yeah, you could fucking hang. So treat.
All right, well, let's get Steve's verdict and see what he has to say about this film.
I concur with pretty much everything Michael Raven Shatter just said. I enjoyed all that stuff. I enjoyed, anytime, like I said before, anytime that you can take a little old and add a little new. And I think that's pretty cool. I dug all the weird humor. I really thought that I mean, I like horror comedies anyway. They're one of my it's pretty much my favorite movie genre, honestly, if I'm being honest. I mean, like Tucker and Dale, but like lots of stuff going back to like the 30s. It's an old genre, and I dig it. I almost always dig it, but sometimes the humor falls on its face. And this one, I felt like it was just enough that it wasn't like there were no jokes. There were no jokes to fall on their face or anything like that. It was just a matter of like there was some silliness. So some of the situations were a little over the top. Some of the characters were a little over the top, the performances. And then other ones weren't, so it sort of felt grounded. So it wasn't full cartoon. It was just, that was the style they were going for. Like, I really felt like everything was intentional. It wasn't that I was laughing at the movie. I was definitely like, when I was laughing with it. Having a good time. And I think they did a good job making a iconic horror hero with Brooke. I mean, Barry's fine, but like Brooke is the cool one, and she's the one you're gonna remember. And I love horror heroes like Ash from Army of Darkness, Evil Dead. Like I also thought that the first one especially really, this is something I wanted to talk about actually, really wore its influences on its sleeve. The second one kind of really sort of became its own thing, but the first one was like half Evil Dead, half Mad Max. I mean, like they really dressed up like Mad Max, and they sort of, kind of skipped that in the second one. For the good guys anyway. The bad guys were wearing, hazmats and various things, but yeah, a lot of fun to be had there. Obviously, it's low budget, even the second one, but I don't worry about that kind of stuff. Like, yeah, I could tell the breath was CG. Who cares? Like, good for you. Like, I can tell when a puppet's a puppet too most of the time. Like, I still like it. Like, I don't know. It's weird. Right. I don't like to complain about the little stuff. Overall, good time. I enjoyed them both.
Awesome. There you have it. Steve, have you seen a film called Undead from 2003 by any chance?
No, I don't believe so.
I would recommend that one because it is a action horror comedy, and it's Australian. It's a zombie movie, and it's directed by the Spierig brothers, who went on to do their filmography isn't super great, but they did Undead, they did Daybreakers. I don't know if you remember that one. I think that was Ethan Hawke. Was it Ethan Hawke? Yeah,
Ethan Hawke
and Willem Dafoe. Yeah. So that was their Hollywood debut, and then they did another film called Predestination, which we did on the show. I don't know if you guys remember that. And then they did Jigsaw, and then Winchester, which I haven't heard good things about Winchester, but
you're in
Winchester
House. Yeah.
Oh shit.
So I would definitely recommend Undead. It's Australian, but it's more in the vein of like early Peter Jackson, Dead Alive style, Bad Taste style. So just throwing out a recommendation since you seem to like the horror comedies. So
I do. Little Bit of Zombie is a funny random movie too. Really like low budget. I don't know who made it. I think it's called Little Bit O Zombie, and very funny. Very funny movie.
Cool. All right, Aries, how about you? Your verdict?
As we talked about this movie, I feel me not having watched the original might have hurt my opinion on this movie, because the comedy aspect of it didn't hit me until about halfway through this movie. Like, I feel the first half of this movie was being played straight, and it didn't work. And by the time it got to any of the comedic aspects, I was kind of bored with it. Although I did like the take on the using the zombies for power, that because I am 100% on board with getting a new take on it, on an old worn out genre. And the power aspect of it I liked, because it was just, I mean, they even dived into things that you wouldn't even think about, even powering the machine guns, which no movie thinks about powering a machine gun. Even in regular society, no one thinks about that. This movie did that, and I appreciate that, but because it was playing it straight for me from the get-go, when they get into the comedic aspect of it, it didn't play right for me. And I was bored with it, and I kind of thought they kind of were trying to redirect. As I spoke with the poster, with the not representing the male characters who I feel were kind of the leads in it, whether it was right or wrong, those were played to a point, and then they kind of were trying to push the female characters, and I feel it was kind of kind of like a
bait switch.
Yeah, bait and switch, or just kind of like, we could do this. Like, they kind of halfway through decided they could do it. And I feel it hurt the movie. And this would not be something I, in good conscience, would recommend anyone to watch. So in my opinion, this movie is a trick.
All right. For me, I thought this was a treat. I dug this.
I didn't say treat.
Oh, okay. There you go.
If it wasn't clear.
I did dig this. I thought that it was I mean, as far as breaking new ground, like, I feel like they kind of extended a lot of what they established in the first film. They did have some interesting things in this, but I think for a small budget movie, like, this is better than a lot of big budget zombie movies, so I think they got a lot of bang for the buck in this, and there's some great performances, some great characters, and also, we didn't really talk too much about it. There's some really good gore. Like, I like that scene where the Surgeon General is controlling another character. I thought that whole battle was really fucking cool looking. We got some head smashes, some pretty good violence in this. So I think overall, like, it's a really stellar film for what it is. Like, they definitely squeezed every last drop out of this film that they possibly could, and it's just kind of a fun series. It's not taking itself too seriously, and I like the world that they set up. I like the world building. Everything seems to make sense in what they're trying to accomplish, and then we have these over the top villains that I think just work in what they've established. So yeah, I dug this. I think I like a lot of the design elements too of the vehicles and just how they're dressed. It's very practical yet kind of iconic in a way. So definitely a treat for me. I really dug this, and if you guys had seen the first one, definitely follow up and watch this one. But I would recommend watching the first one. As Aries said, he may have had a different sort of view of this if he had, and even though I hadn't seen it for about 7 years, I still remembered enough as the movie went on to really get a good grasp of what's going on. But I think the first one is available streaming somewhere. It was on Shudder for a while. I'm not sure if it is now. Maybe on Netflix, but I'm sure you guys can track that down if you want. But I think Wormwood Apocalypse was a treat, and I think there's a lot of folks out there that will dig it. So, well, that is going to wrap up our film discussion, and also it's going to wrap up our time with Mr. Steven Van Sampson.
Well, thank you very much for having me on, guys. It was a blast, as always. I always love hanging out with you guys. Even Aries.
You know what? I'll see you in the parking lot.
Oh, shit.
Shit. After school.
It's a hug, right? That's what you mean.
Yeah.
Hug it out.
Yeah. You know what? He thinks I'm joking, but he's going to look over his shoulder when he steps out of that driveway.
There's going to be such a hug waiting for me. It's going to be the beardiest hug ever.
Except his beard will be at your crotch because he's a dwarf.
the hug curl around the world. Yeah.
So, Steve, once again, please tell folks where they can find your stuff and promote.
Awesome. Yeah. So thanks, guys. Thanks, Jesse. So please definitely go to roughhousepublishing.com can purchase all the versions of Mark of the Witchworm there. The cheapest is actually the paperback, which is only $15.99, and there's multiple tiers, like I said, hardcover versions, and there's one final tier with the hardcover and the softcover. They all come signed, and the hardcovers are numbered. Another awesome thing you're going to get in the hardcover that I didn't mention before, along with the pin, is there is some cool stickers and everything, but there's also a double-sided poster. It's 11 by 17 poster, and one side features artwork by the cover artist that we used, Renee Eigner, and he's a Munich-based artist. Absolutely awesome guy. I actually worked with this guy previously. He did the covers for Enchanted Exile, my old band, and for our CDs. But he's worked for Game of Thrones. He's worked for Brian McClellan, for people who might know the Powder Mage books. He's done some of those covers. Really cool. And the other side of that poster features this amazing artwork by a guy we all know, Derek Rook. He did this just kick-ass comic book style Witchworm cover, and we used it for the poster. It's just awesome. We usually have it framed on the table, and it it stops people walking by, like they just what is that? I need that.
Yeah.
In my life. So really, really fun stuff. I actually have the original of that hanging up in my house. So pretty cool. Just saying. But you guys can have the colored version in paper form, which is pretty awesome. So anyway, Mark of the Witchworm. Also, in the back there's lots of fun, like we did. I'll show Michael Ravenshadow.
Thank you.
You guys won't be able to see because the camera's so far away.
Yeah,
Look,
you can't have it.
There's drawings. There's drawings and shit.
Oh,
look at that.
There's tons of art
It's
drawings.
fucking art drawings.
Shit.
I did some of this. Derek did some of this.
Yeah.
It's just in the back of the hardcover. It is the deluxe edition. There's also a short story in the back of the deluxe hardcover as well. It adds another 15 or so pages.
And you are so handsome in the author at home portion of the hardcover book.
He's not handsome in person?
It's my actual face.
No, he's even more handsome in person. But
That's when I was younger. That was.
You were much
5
fucking
years.
younger, Dick.
Yeah, I know. But anyway,
and stop kissing his ass. He's not going to stay and read the book to you when
Yeah.
you sleep.
Gonna fucking stay over.
someday. But yeah, roughhousepublishing.com. Also follow me I'm mainly on Facebook and Twitter. You can look up Steve Van Samson. Samson does not have a P in it. Just saying, in case you're wondering, people who like to put a P in there. Yeah, follow me, say hey, and if you're around next weekend in Massachusetts and you like horror cons, consider checking out the short dough of $12 is all you need to check out the Monster Expo in Fairhaven. Was that what it was? Shit. This is why it's late and I have notes. Yes, Fairhaven. I was right. See, that was unnecessary. See, I want to say Fairhaven, Connecticut, and it's like, no, it's Fairhaven, Mass. Next to
fucking Boston,
New Bedford.
New Bedford.
New Bedford, hey.
Come say hey.
Yeah.
We're giving shit, and we're giving out free high fives. So stop on by.
Wow, free high fives.
Yep.
Dude, this artwork is fucking killer in the back. I love all these characters.
All right. Well, that is going to wrap up our time with Steve Van Samson. Steve, it was awesome having you on, buddy. It's great to chat. And everyone also go listen to Retro Redoctopus. Check out Steve on there every 2 weeks. And you going to say something as well, Aries? So I don't know. You did the Raven Shadow, had your hand up, I thought. So.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. My bad. I'll put him in my pocket.
I'm used to Raven Shadow putting his hand up to talk. So, yeah, everyone go check out Steve's stuff, Rough House Publishing, Retro Redoctopus, and also Steve Van Samson and his authors, his author work, his writings, his book stuff. Check it all out. The scribblings. his typewriting. You typewrite all that stuff, right? You put it on a typewriter and type it all out. You publish each book by typing it out, right?
Oh no, it's longhand.
Longhand.
Do it all on Post-its. You won't
Raven
believe
Shadow. Raven Shadow wants to
skill.
see your longhand.
Yeah. Yes.
All right,
Like a long
Steve. We're gonna.
All right, thanks.
We'll let you
Had a
get
great-
out of here so you can get some sleep. But thanks for coming on, man, and best
Guys,
of luck.
All right, I'm gonna walk Steve out and give him a hug and a kiss. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Me and Aries will talk shit while you guys are gone. He's gonna have a complex now, Aries. You know that, right?
Oh yeah, yep. If I thought he was more tech savvy, I thought he'd like watch YouTube as he's walking him out on his phone.
Yeah, right. Pull it out. So I guess what I'll do while we're waiting for Raven Shadow to come back is I will mention what we're doing next week. So next week is going to be kind of a cool thing, as there's no milestone, but I feel like it's like a milestone type show. We got some big stuff coming up. We're going to have 2 guests. I'm not sure. We might have both in studio. We might have one in studio at Raven Shadows. We'll find out, but we're going to have 2 guests and 2 films. So it just kind of worked out this way. We didn't plan to have 2 films, but it worked out perfectly because I want to talk about both of these films with both of these guys. And first up, as we mentioned a couple weeks ago, Arkham Josh is coming back on the show, and that will be next week. So Arkham Josh will be joining us. Also joining, verified in studio, or so he says, is Monster Zero. And Monster Zero, it is possible that this might be his last in-studio appearance. So we know, obviously, Monster Zero has left the show, but we still value his opinion once in a while. But we're going to have him back on the show, and it may very well be his last appearance in the studio before he moves. So kind of a big deal. That's why it feels like it's kind of a milestone type episode. But for films, we're doing 2 films. First of all, we're going to do the film X, Ty West's X. We've been anxious to do this one, and it hit VOD the same day that Wormwood Apocalypse did, but we had already planned that one, so that's why we did them in that order. And also, as a special bonus, our good friend of the show and amazing director, Karando Mitsutake, has allowed us to screen his film Maniac Driver, his latest film Maniac Driver. It is available on Diabolic DVD. If you guys want to go ahead and purchase it, you can get a Blu-ray. You can get it on Diabolic, Diabolik, Diabolic DVD. And you can get your own copy of Maniac Driver if you would like from there. It doesn't. We'll probably find out what the full deal is, but it doesn't have official U.S. distribution yet, where you can get it on VOD. So unfortunately, as of right now, the only way you can see it is to buy it. So if you guys want to check it out ahead of time, you better place that order soon so you get it in. Hopefully, you get it before next week. But Diabolic DVD. We'll be talking about Karando Mitsutake's Maniac Driver and also Ty West's X.
I think everyone needs to tune in to find out whether I will bash a movie by one of our friends.
Oh boy.
You know what? Because you know what? I haven't seen the movie, and I
haven't either.
I am intrigued whether I am going to like this movie or not, and how I am going to talk about this movie on the show. Because I don't like to pull punches.
Steven
So,
Sampson
you know what?
almost found that out.
Oh yeah, no. So everyone just needs to tune in to see how I am going to treat this movie from a friend of the show.
Yeah. Raven Chow, so you missed. I just announced what we're doing next week while you were gone. So
Oh shit.
With Arkham Josh and MZ, we're going to be doing the films X from Ty West and Karando Mitsutake's Maniac Driver. It's been a long time coming. So we're going to do both of those films, and we'll have 2 guests on, at least 1, maybe 2 in studio. Raven Shadow, look at this. You're all getting to hang out with all these people. You must be ecstatic.
Listen, the fucking Chateau is a fucking place to be, man. Everyone's fucking coming up.
Did you get rid of chairs? You got rid of chairs. You don't have enough room in there anymore.
I got it's all the same.
What?
It's all the same.
You're gonna move that lamp then? What are you gonna do?
No, I'm gonna put MZ behind the lamp.
You put MZ behind the lamp.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
No one puts MZ behind the lamp.
Put it in the bathroom. You can record from the toilet.
He's gonna pee in the shower.
Yeah. You're gonna put him in the shower. It was exciting. No, we have everyone's over here, man. It's crazy, man. Everyone should go. We should come.
It is exciting, and it feels like a milestone type show I mentioned, but there's no milestone, just episode 509. So
fucking extra giant size. Yeah, it's like it should be in one of the hundreds.
yeah, it'll be like an annual. Right.
And just for anyone that's paying attention, right about now, I'm in Raven Shadow's driveway, smacking Steve in the face.
But if you're watching the video, you know he's still in his house.
Yeah.
So looking forward to that. That's what's next week. Hopefully you guys can check out the films. And as always, if you want to leave your voice message with your thoughts on either or both film, feel free to send them to podcast@trickortreatradio.com. We'd love to hear your voices, as always. So send a voice message or an email, I guess, if you are so inclined. And yeah, looking forward to that. Should be a fun show. All right. Go ahead. Were you going to say something, Rave Shadow?
I mean, it's a lot. It's a lot. I mean, that's almost premium content.
It's a lot of beef.
A lot of beef.
With MZ, especially.
A lot of beef in that ring there, pal.
Yeah. So that's going to be fun. Looking forward to that. Now, let's wrap up the show. We do have a couple voice messages. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. Looks like we have a voice message from Nick Cage. Is that true? All right. Well, let's see what Nick has to say.
Nick Cage, smooch is good. Nick fucking woo Cage.
Wow. Thanks, Nick Cage. It sounds like the Australian Nick Cage right there. So, well, there you go. Nick Cage has his new movie out, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, Raven Shadow.
Yeah, no, I can relate.
You can, huh?
No, I can't. I'm excited, though. I do want to see it. I do want to see it.
I know Goro saw it tonight.
Did he really?
Yep. So, all right, let's check out the next voice message. This is from our buddy First Time Mike.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is First Time Mike. How's everybody doing? You're Zest from the Upper Midwest.
Nice.
Long time no talk. I'm doing okay. It's just been a little bit busy. Family's healthy. Work's going steady. It's just been a little bit busy. Every time I want to do a little voicemail, something's come up or I haven't watched a movie, but I'm catching up on movies. I'll probably do like a quick hit review and go over some of the movies you guys have reviewed in the past couple weeks when I do get a chance. But and hello to Steve Sampson, Rough House for Life. I'm always enjoying the great guests, and I'm still meaning to check out your book, man, but it looks really good. But what I'm here to talk about today is 30 Coins. It's a treat. I'm not going to mince words or anything. A good, solid, I watched the first 2 episodes in one block. Kept my interest the whole time. Just such a great use of mood, restrained use of CGI and the monsters. There's a lot more suggestion. But when you see stuff going crazy, it goes crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And it's a nice balance, and there's a good feeling of dread that D'Iglesias uses to tell this story. And so you expect the stuff, but when the blood happens, it's so sharp, visceral, punchy, and it's gory and it's not overused much. I really enjoyed the characters. The priest is interesting. I love the interplay between Paco and Elena. They seem like old time friends who maybe were something more back in the past, or there's a tension between them. And I also find Paco's wife, Merche, I think it's pronounced, interesting. She's much more worldly than Paco, and I think uses it to his, a lot of the dialogue. Basically, she's using Paco's, popularity with the people and political aspirations for her own designs, and as she seems more exposed to this demonic world around them, I think that she's going to be coming up in more plot lines, and because I think she has some triggers where she can be corruptible, and not just because she seems to be, hungry for wealth. I think there's other things involved, including a jealousy for Elena, because you saw that in the several times they interact.
Yeah.
But I love the interplay. And Paco I like as a character because he was, I think you guys somebody mentioned that he was more like the mayor in Jaws. He seems to be more like the guy that cares so much about everybody that everybody can talk into doing stuff for him. And he cares a lot about the town. And the town knows it, so anytime there's a problem, they call Paco. And Paco will go and take care of the problem. And that might be, that might be used to hurt him too, but it's part of his character, and I just love the interplay between, like I said, him and Elena. The priest is awesome, but in some of the set pieces were great. The main demon in the first one, which I don't want to give away, but it has a very like Hieronymus Bosch look, demonic look to it, and I want to see how they use the Catholic, specifically Christian imagery in this show, because it's I've seen it referred to as a very Lovecraftian use for it, and I totally agree with that. 30 coins. I'm gonna probably watch the rest of it when I get a chance. I give it a treat. It's a great watch. Wishing you guys all the best. Hope everybody is doing well. Hopefully the weather will settle down in your neck of the woods, because the past couple of weeks it looks like you guys are getting nailed with stuff. But wishing everybody a good night. And P.S. quick Patreon question, or maybe what do you guys think is going to happen now with the Discovery merger with Warner Brothers for DC Comics and the current stuff with Disney and Marvel Comics? Do you think that comic books as we know them will be around in the next 5 years or so? Well, I got to get going. Good night, guys, and take care of yourselves. This is First Time Mike out. Bye.
All right, First Time Mike. Great to hear from you, buddy. And glad you checked out 30 Coins and enjoyed it. So very cool. If you continue to watch and you want to continue to update us, feel free. I haven't had a chance to watch any of the other episodes. Had a busy week, but I'm looking forward to checking some more out. First Time Mike does bring up an interesting question. It's one we've sort of talked about. It could be a good Patreon discussion, Raven Shadow. Future of comics and kind of where we see that going. And, now with them being like comic stories being more popular than ever, it's sort of like almost like this reverse where like comic stories are going up and like comic book sales are like passing them on the way down,
It's funny. I think we kind of touched a little bit upon that last week.
Yeah, we did a little bit, yeah. But it could be for a bigger discussion, right? Have a bigger discussion about it.
And I have some ideas about that if we were to have that. So
yeah, toss them out. Let's talk about that when off air. Figure it out, because I think it'd be fun.
So I have an idea for a returning guest and a first time guest to speak to that.
All right. Cool. I dig it. So First Time Mike, I think what we'll do is we'll table that for now. We did talk about it a little bit last week, but I think it's a good topic for another medium, whether it's maybe it's even something we could do next Blackout Tape, whenever that is. It could be a topic. It could be something that we tackle on a future Patreon show as well. So appreciate the recommendation as always, and good to hear from you, bud. You stay safe as well. And he said something funny, something from the Midwest. I really like that. Do you remember what he said?
I laughed. I chuckled.
But I like that little bit at the beginning you said. I don't remember what it is now, unfortunately.
I love that much. He's so fucking cool.
Yeah, first time Mike's the best. All right, so that is it for voice messages. So we should wrap some stuff up. Is there anything you guys want to discuss that we haven't yet before we end things?
I chatted with Linus a bit over the weekend, along with John R. Patreon contributors, so big ups.
Nice, look at you, public outreach once again.
And I'm reaching out, touching people.
Oh God, sound like that song "Sweet Caroline."
Reaching out, touching me, touching you. Yeah, 7th inning stretch, right?
Oh God, I hate that song. I hate that it's a fucking thing at Fenway Park because I love going to Fenway, but I fucking hate hearing that song.
I mean, it was great, but then it fucking stopped.
No, it never was great.
Yeah, it never was great.
Wow.
That song has absolutely nothing to do with baseball. It has no business being played at a baseball stadium.
Yeah, it makes no sense.
Anything else? Do you guys have anything else? I don't know. Like, I know we kind of we kind of jumped into things right away. So I don't know if there's any stories or if you guys were excited about like watching a show or a movie or anything like that.
I talked to my mother this past week. I talked to my brother this week. I talked to my child this week.
That's exciting. Well, you want to tell us the contents of those conversations?
No. I just talked to him.
Does your mom think I'm handsome?
Didn't come up.
Wow, that didn't come up. That's crazy.
Didn't come up. We were actually shopping for a new vehicle for her.
Oh. Have Raven Shadow help because he can live vicariously through your mom because he hates his car.
Yeah.
See, she loves her car. She's having trouble finding a replacement for her car because she likes the full-size sedans, and they don't like making those anymore.
Also, used cars are very difficult to find now because they're in such high demand.
Yeah, well, she's not opposed to buying new. They just don't fucking make a new vehicle.
Yeah.
Because as old as I am, my mother is even older than that. So she
Whoa,
is just
your mom's older than
opposed. My mother's older than me.
Wow.
My mother is opposed to technology in vehicles. Like, I think she would like the crank on the front of the car if she could. There is tech she doesn't want in her vehicle, and they just put it in there automatically nowadays.
Yeah,
so
you can't get away
pissed.
from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yo, all I want is a fucking cigarette lighter and a fucking ashtray up this motherfucker. I don't want Bluetooth.
Yeah, they don't put those in vehicles anymore.
Yeah.
You want a cigarette lighter? I know you smoke, but like really?
Really?
When was the last time you used an automotive cigarette lighter?
The last time I had a fucking my Cavalier, silver Cavalier.
Wow.
Not black sugar, but the
black sugar.
Yeah, my Z28.
You named a car Black Sugar?
Yeah, you've been in it.
How is that even a thing?
Because there was the Rob Zombie song Black Sunshine, and I figured I would just do something different.
So Black Sugar?
Yeah,
Black sugar is burnt. I mean, come on. I mean, that's not a thing.
I'm into maracas, Dino. What the fuck is that?
Oh my
my
god.
red Mustang was red 5. That's obvious on the nose. Yeah.
And you don't know you can buy a cigarette lighter thing to go into the power port.
How much does that cost now?
It's probably like
$2.
$10. I don't know.
Really?
Probably $2. Like it's dirt cheap money. You buy it and it plugs in.
Will you buy me one?
No. I am not going to encourage your bad habit.
You already
I've been trying to get you to break that bad habit for years.
It's called.
I broke that bad habit. You need to break that bad habit.
Wow, he's calling you. He called you a motherfucker.
I've been calling
and he's
you out
calling
for
you
fucking
out.
years. For fucking years.
Raven Shadow, I can't believe you quit for like 3 months or whatever when you got your wisdom teeth out.
It was a month. Yeah, it was
a month. Oh, okay. And then you went back.
Because at that point, the chemical addiction was gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was psychological.
Well, all our problems are psychological. It's exciting. But no, I caught up on Moon Knight episode 3 and not seen 4. It's exciting. I watched a little bit of the Batman, but
a little bit.
A little bit.
What's a little bit?
How can you watch a little bit of it?
Because I was gonna watch it. Marion left. She already seen it, and I was gonna watch it, and then talk to Rock for a little bit, and that became like an hour conversation. And then I'm like, all right, well now it's like fucking 10 o'clock. So I watched a little bit, but I wanna rewatch it. I want to watch it from the beginning, and just pause to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean?
I'm sorry. I'm confused. You wanted to watch it. You watched it, and then you talked to Rock.
I was gonna. Marion was gonna come over. We were gonna have some Easter leftovers, and we had that. And then she ended up going home because she already saw it. So I'm like, all right, well now it's like, you know.
Wow. I guess she doesn't want to hang out with you.
No, shooting screwed. But she had stuff to do, and then I'm like, all right, well I guess I'll talk to Rock.
Oh, so he's your fallback option.
I guess
I'll talk to Rock. Oh,
well, I guess no, don't be fucking weird. Maybe
we're not being weird. We're basically repeating what you said.
I don't know what I said.
No, well, we did. We just repeated.
We just said it back to you.
No, because I was like, I started talking to Rocky, so I'm like, oh, you want to talk? We talked about Moon Knight for a little bit, and then an hour passed. It was a short conversation because normally it goes like fucking 3 hours.
I'm sorry, just for clarification, when you say you talked to Rock, did you talk to him or were you texting him?
No, it was actual conversation.
He literally talked to a rock.
I'm like, hello, Rock. Oh. Yeah. What are you fucking?
So you connected by some means and spoke to him.
Yeah, it's weird that I have a connection to somebody, Aries. It's funny.
Well, no, excuse me. I was looking for clarification as to the means of which, because you can say you talked to him and you could have texted him, you could have emailed him.
Because all those times I reached out to you and you shut me down. But yes, no, Rock actually my phone call.
When was the last time we spoke beyond this show?
Wow,
yeah, exactly.
You never reached out to him, huh?
Exactly.
I did.
When we talk, it's via text.
Right.
So that's why I'm looking for clarification with Rock.
They've been very helpful in some decisions I made. But no, we actually talked via we call it the Messenger app.
So you texted him?
No, we talked on the phone like fucking Johnny.
Voice chat. He means through Messenger.
Yeah, voice chat.
Okay. Well, don't say Messenger then. Say voice chat.
Johnny.
Yeah. Hi. I am here.
Is it not?
Okay. I'm sorry. So you physically spoke to him. Okay, fine. We physically talked. I don't know whether our listeners were having trouble with the clarification, but I am satisfied now. Thank you.
Ooh, you satisfied Aries finally.
I satisfied myself.
Oh shit.
Trying to say I'm gonna watch Batman probably Sunday. Pizza.
Probably Sunday. Jesus Christ. Okay.
How many sittings?
No, I do want to watch. I want to pause. I'm gonna pause a little bit. You know what I mean?
It's 3 hours. Yeah. So how many sittings? Is that 4 for you?
No, 4. 40 maybe.
That's exciting. I think I'm gonna. Actually, this Sunday there might be something going on, Aries. I sent you a text about that. If you want to get involved in that in the afternoon.
Yes. Invite me for wieners. Yes, appreciate it. Thank you.
They have French fries.
Aries doesn't like wieners. Is that what I'm hearing?
I'm not a fan of the wieners.
Don't say I don't invite you. Thank you.
I'm going to do my best to attend.
Okay, thank you. You text me?
Maybe.
All right, so I think we are done here. Looking forward to next week, though. It should be fun with Arkham Josh, Monster Zero, and also talking about the films X from Ty West and Maniac Driver from Karando Mitsutake. his Japanese giallo. And I think we have the right people to discuss a giallo film with Josh and MZ.
I can't fucking wait to talk about.
I don't know if you heard this. It might have been when you were away, but Aries says he is he's going to be honest, and he says if he doesn't like it, he's going to talk about that. So we get to see how brutally honest Aries is going to be next week.
Well, it's been fucking brutally honest. Some people fucking last couple of weeks, but no, I think fair to say though, to giving away fucking Carano's resume, I am excited. Like I'm fucking excited. It's like I can't fucking wait.
It's going to be fun. So next week seems like a big show. Just 5:09, but seems like a big show. So hopefully you guys tune in. It might very well be the last time MZ is in studio before he moves. Because once he moves, he ain't fucking coming back down here. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah, no, but
it'll take an act of God to get him back down here.
Exactly.
It should be an event because it's gonna be fucking, and that's gonna be a fucking 6-hour show. Like I may have to call out sick. Like,
it's not gonna be 6 hours.
It's gonna be fucking long.
No, it may be 3.5 tops. I'm not going any longer than that.
Monster Zero. We have Josh in the house. We have Aries being angry. We have,
I'm sorry. What is new about that?
Yeah, but you're doing some new things.
I mean, granted, my favorite punching bag is coming back, but
thank you. But like,
Thank you?
What?
Why you think? Oh, because you're not the punching bag. That's why. I get it.
It's fucking bob and weave, baby. Come on, you can't hit me. I'm like fucking dancing in the water, but I don't get wet. You know what I'm saying?
I'm sorry. You're dancing in a pool.
Those half pools. You get it.
You're getting wet.
Actually, we might get one of those little Toys R Us pools. Ollie and I.
Oh boy. All right, let's just end it.
All right. Well, let's say our goodbyes, starting with Aries.
Goodbye.
Raven Shadow.
Yeah. Live fast, love hard, survive with your mask on.
All right, everybody. That is going to wrap things up for episode 508. 508, Raven Shadow, in the 508 right now. You are.
Oh, hey.
You and Aries are in the 508 right now. So we appreciate Steve Van Sampson coming on and hanging out and talking about Wormwood Apocalypse. And everyone go check out all his stuff, Rough House Publishing, Retro. Actually, I want you to say, Raven Shadow, what's the name of his podcast again? I forget.
Retro Redoctopus.
Retro Redoctopus. You got it. You added a little syllable in there, but you got it.
Retro Redoctopus, right?
There you go. Boom. Nailed it. Boom, and boom goes dynamite.
Yeah. Fucking Technical Tuesday, all that shit.
Technical Tuesday.
No, tentacles.
Oh, I thought you said Technical Tuesday. That's like...
That would make more sense for you.
Yeah.
Technical Tuesday.
That's when we troubleshoot stuff on Tuesdays.
I would hate Technical Tuesday. I'd much rather have testicles.
Or brajol.
Oh, brajol. Technical. Yeah. Tactical. Tactical Tuesday.
The tactical... No, never mind. That's not going to work. I was going to do the Technicolor Dreamboat, but never mind.
Jesus in the Technicolor. Jesus in the Technicolor flak jacket. There you go.
I don't even know what that means, but it's funny.
Yeah, Joseph in the Technicolor. Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm so hungry.
Oh God, let's just go. Let's just. Tap out.
Yeah, home tap. I think we're all tapping out. All right, everyone, that's going to do it for episode 508. Thank you for hanging out. Everyone who hung out for the live show and everyone who sent in a voice message. We got First Time Mike and we got Nick Cage calling in. It's a momentous episode because of that. And next week should be fun. So come back and join us. And everyone, especially our Patreon supporters, we love you guys the most. Thank you so much for your support. And we will see you next week with a pretty fucking jam-packed show. So come back and join us live. Should be fun. Who knows what'll happen. All right, see you guys.